stand still, you hear? Just because you happen to be the prettiest thing inside of a red wagon don't mean you can put on airs with me. No, sir. As far as I'm concerned, you're still just a bushy-tailed range pony, and don't you forget it.
How's it going, big brother?
Ah, Shortshanks. Yeah, if it's any better, I think it's a frame-up.
Oh, Shortshanks, huh? You better watch what you call me. I'll jump up on a stump and punch you in the knee. This is about the flossiest-looking crowbait I ever did see.
Yeah, sure she is. That's why you just give your right arm for her, that's all.
I don't know about my right arm. I might give her a nice stall in the back of the barn if she didn't have enough sense to get in out of the rain. She's too pretty for a range horse. What are you going to do with her?
Oh, I thought I might make a gift out of her.
A gift?
Yep.
After you hand-fed and raised this filly from a colt, you're just going to give her away? Must be a pretty important reason.
Well, yep. Sort of thought I might make an engagement present out of her.
Oh, yeah? Who's getting married?
Me and Margie Owens. The whole.
Hey, now look, you're not spoofing me, are you?
I don't think so, Joe.
Hey, Joe, wait a minute. What do you mean, wait a minute? This is the real Huckleberry. It's the greatest news ever.
It's a real Huckleberry.
Oh, Hoss, I don't know what to say. You better grab a hold of the holder on that filly, because I'm going to yell.
No, Joe, wait a minute. No. Joe,
hey,
wait a minute.
What did Pa say?
Well, I ain't had a chance.
Yeah, come on,
Joe,
tell me.
wait a minute.
Hey, Pa, close the windows and bar the doors. I got the greatest news since Kelsey's hog found gold.
What's all the noise about? Sound like you got your foot caught in a bear trap.
Hey, now, wait till you hear this. All right, brace yourselves. Go ahead and tell him. Well, come on, tell him.
Oh, Dad, burn it, Paul. Little Joe's always too
All right,
quick.
I'll tell him myself. Hoss is gonna get married.
Look, it's too late in the day for this sort of nonsense.
Now, wait a minute, Pa. No, this isn't nonsense. Now, Hoss is gonna get married. He's gonna marry Margie Owens.
Now, look, Margie Owens is a very nice girl, and I won't have you joking about her this way.
Paul, I'd be the last person in the world to joke about Margie. The fact is, it's truer than true. I do want to marry Margie, but Dad, burn it, little Joe's always jumping off the deep end.
Wait. You mean it?
Yes, sir.
You mean it? You really mean it? You really want to get married? You're going to get married? Well, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. I didn't think you had that much sense in you. That's wonderful.
Well, you're the luckiest guy in the world. She's much too good for you.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Listen to me a minute. It's a fact I want to marry Margie, but that don't mean she wants to marry me.
Well, what does it mean?
I ain't even asked her yet.
She loves you, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think.
Well?
So what's wrong? What are you worried about?
Now, that ain't necessarily so, Joe. I ain't such an all-fired bargain.
Oh, come on.
Well, don't make no difference. I ain't going to take no chances. I'll take plenty of time, and then I'm going to ask her.
You know that level piece of ground right near Rocking Chair Butte? That'd be a perfect place for the house, wouldn't it?
Just right. They got the whole valley to look at.
Yeah. Hey, and you know, there's a lot of sweet water up there, too.
Hey, what are you three talking about?
Planning a house for you and Margie. Come on, let's take a look at the map. There must be about 5,000 acres there.
That's a beautiful spot.
Now, that's one of the prettiest places.
I got to run an errand, Margie. I promised Paul I'd pick up a saddle. It won't take but a minute. I hope you don't mind.
Of course. It's all right. I don't mind at all. Take your time. Is something wrong, Hoss?
No, Everything's just fine, Margie. Just fine. So anyway, I rode back over the hill, and I came back in that little draw from the other side, and there was that old big mama bear and them two little cubs, as pretty as you please.
You want some more potato sauce?
Yeah, get 1 spoon. Yeah.
What did Hennessy say about those window frames?
Well, he said we could have them if there wasn't any hurry. I told him there didn't seem to be any.
Window frames? For what?
For a house we're going to build near Rocking Chair Butte, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Not that we want to hurry you or anything like that.
Oh, no, that'd be the last thing you'd want to do.
But we do think you're being lazy, shiftless, selfish, and downright cowardly about the matter.
I'm lazy, shiftless, selfish, and a dirty coward. And on top of all that, I'm scared, Paul.
Look, Hoss, we're going to have a party. Food and dancing. Saturday the 10th. For all our friends and neighbors, right here in the Ponderosa. Now, I'd like to make the announcement then. Well, that gives you 10 full days to do your part.
Yeah, but Paul, what if I'm still scared?
Well, I'll ask her.
Paul, I don't think she'd marry you.
I mean, you big ox.
Oh, isn't it lovely? Oh, look at it, Hoss.
That's the prettiest thing I ever saw.
The way the trees frame the view, it's like an artist had set them there. As if each one were something very special. Hoss, are you in love with me? Really and truly in love?
Well, I was going to sort of sneak up on it. I was going to tell you that I love you so much I can't hardly stand it. Then I was going to ask you to be my wife. And I still am when I work up enough courage.
Hoss.
Then this view here, I was going to ask you if maybe you'd like a house right here on this very spot.
Wait.
Paul and Adam they done bought the window frames for it.
Listen.
I'm sorry, Margie. I guess I got sort of carried away with myself. I ain't even asked the main question yet, have I?
Hoss Cartwright, if you'd stop talking so much, well, maybe I could get a word in edgewise.
All right. As long as that word ain't no.
Well, any normal, practical girl could think of nothing nicer than a husband like you and a house right here.
But what, Margie?
Well, I've lived around here all my life, and I've known you for years and years. And I know what it would be like. But, well, I want to see the world far away from here. All the wonderful, romantic places I've only read about. Don't you understand, Hoss?
Oh, yeah, Margie, I understand. All girls like to do that sort of thing. I'll tell you what. I'll take you to San Francisco on our honeymoon.
San Francisco? Hoss, I'm talking about the whole wide world, and you offer San Francisco.
Well, Margie, the whole world can wait. We're young. There's plenty of time. Who says we won't see the world?
Do you think so, Hoss? Really and truly?
Absolutely. That is, unless you're too busy taking care of the kids.
Oh, Hoss.
I tell you what. Paul's going to have a party Saturday night. We'll announce it then.
Well, I don't know that. That's so soon. And we haven't talked to Papa yet.
All right. I'll come calling tomorrow night. And you tell your Paul that I'll be asking that certain question. Margie.
Yes, Hoss?
You reckon Well, what I mean is...
Is that what you were asking?
Yes, ma'am. It sure was. Whoa, dadgummit. How come you're so old-fired spooked? It's me that's got to go in there and talk to the man, not you. I ain't spooked. Little Paul said.
Well, good evening, Mr. Cartwright. So nice of you to call.
Margie, tonight was the night, wasn't it? I was supposed to come call tonight. You talked to your pa, didn't you?
Won't you come into the sitting room, Mr. Cartwright, and meet our other guest?
Huh? Margie, did you talk to your pa?
Oh, well, that's perfectly sweet of you. Thank you. Now, may I take your hat?
Dadgummit, I guess I left in the buggy. Margie, you got me so dang mixed up.
This is Mr. Mark Connors, Mr. Cartwright.
Mr. Cartwright, a great pleasure to meet you, sir.
How are you, sir? Mr. Owens?
Good evening, Hoss. Over and sit down.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Connors came to discuss mining properties with Papa. He was telling us about his adventures in Africa and all over the world. But do go on, Mr. Connors.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that Mr. Cartwright would be bored. I know that he's got many more interesting things to relate.
No, they ain't much ever happens around here. Not like in Africa. You go on, Mr. Connors.
Mr. Connors was telling us about a trip he made to the island of Zanzibar.
It is exciting, isn't it, Papa?
Yes, as Mr. Owens just said, I was telling him about Zanzibar. Now, there's a name to conjure with, Mr. Cartwright. Zanzibar. Island of spices. Any offshore breeze carries the scent of the cloves many, many miles out to sea. And yet, with this exotic aroma, there exists another one far less bewitching. I ask you to believe that, not more than a quarter of a mile from palaces of unbelievable luxury, there exist stockades where men, women, and children are caged like animals. Blackamoors, yes, captured in the deep jungles of darkest Africa, but human nonetheless, and capable as you and I are of pain and misery and heartache.
If it isn't the well-traveled Mr. Connors.
Kathy, what the devil are you doing here?
Obviously waiting for you, Mark.
I told you to wait in San Francisco.
I told you to wait in San Francisco. The last time you told me to wait in St. Louis, I waited 3 years.
Now, look here. You take this bag and get back to Frisco.
Just like that, huh? Just crawl off in a hole somewhere until the big promoter decides to whistle. Well, I'm not going.
Now, listen to me, Kathy, my darling. Look, I'm involved in a very important business deal. Now, if you come here to cause trouble, you're going to ruin...
Trouble, Mark? When you're trying to make money for us?
Oh, yes. Yes, I might have known. Yeah. You could have written, you know. I would have sent the money to you. There was no need to come all the way up here.
Thank you, Mark. I can use this. You've taught me very expensive tastes. This isn't why I rode that dirty, back-breaking stage all the way up here.
Oh, no? Then, why?
I just don't trust you. This little business deal you're involved in. What's Miss Plain Jane Owens got to do with it?
Oh, that. Oh, nothing at all. Incidentally, how long have you been in town, huh?
Only since this afternoon.
Oh.
But this is a very small place, Mark. It has the usual gossips. It just took me about 1 hour to find out all about you and Miss Owens.
Well, now, listen to me, Kathy. Miss Owens is an only child and the apple of her father's rich heart. And she's got a great influence on him.
You have a great influence on her.
Exactly. So, you see, you mustn't interfere now, Kathy. Remember, under our agreement, you stand to gain just as much as I do, huh?
All right, Mark. I will go, and I will wait, but not for long. Because remember, under our agreement, if I wanted to, I could blow your little scheme sky high.
Oh, my sweet, my dear, sweet, cynical little Kathy. Isn't there anyone in this whole wide world that you trust, huh?
Not in your world.
Mr. Owens, may I tell you, your daughter is as light as a feather. Dancing with her is sheer delight.
Her ma was like that, too.
Mr. Cartwright, I want to thank you. Your uninvited guest is having the time of his life.
Oh, Mr. Connors, you're more than welcome. Everyone within the sound of music is welcome at this party.
Gracious of you, sir. Gracious.
You got a minute for an old friend, Miss Owens?
Of course, old friend.
Keep them closed tight. Put your hands over them. I don't trust you. Okay, come on. Keep them tight. Don't you peep. Okay, turn around this way. Now open your eyes.
Oh, great day in the morning. Would you look at this? Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, where in the world did you... Oh, is this Junebug? That scrawny little thing you picked up on the range?
It's her.
Oh, she's grown into a beauty. Where you been keeping her?
Oh, out of sight. I'm saving her, I guess.
Saving her for what? Well, if I had her, I'd parade her every chance I got.
Well, I reckon I was saving her for a present all along. Just didn't know it.
A present? Well, I couldn't think of a better one. Hey, who are you going to give her to?
I was kind of figuring on making her an engagement present to you, Margie.
Hollis, I'm sorry. I don't know where my mind was. I just didn't think.
That's all right. I was kind of hoping that, well, we could make the announcement tonight.
And I didn't speak to Papa, did I?
Well, that's my job, but Dad Bernard, I couldn't get a word in edgewise the other night.
Oh, am a foolish, mixed-up girl, and I'm hurting you.
Oh, no, you're not. Margie, you just still got some of those funny notions about the big, wide, wide world out there or something.
It's so hard for me to make up my mind.
Well, old Judy here is yours anyhow. And I'll talk to your papa tonight if I have to hog time.
Go on, I'll be in a minute. Good cigar you got there, Owens. Got a nice, rich smell.
What do you want, Gilbert?
I want my money back from that little deal we had together.
That business deal failed. We both lost money.
You can afford to lose money, but I can't. It seems to me if you could include me in another deal.
If this is blackmail,
A little trouble, Mr. Owens?
Stay out of this, dude.
Thank you, Mark. I think Mr. Gilbert has said all he's going to say.
Hey, what happened?
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Cartwright. This is a devil of a way for a guest to act.
How'd it get started?
Well, Gilbert there threatened me, and when Connors came on the scene, Gilbert attacked him.
Well, it'll be all right, though, Margie. Miss Owens, he'd been drinking, I expect. Perhaps we should go, Mr. Owens, before this gentleman wakes up and causes us some more trouble.
Oh, yes, of course. Matter of fact, Margie, I was looking for you when this happened. Come along, my dear.
Mr. Owens, there's something I want to talk to you
Yes,
about.
but not tonight, Hoss. We really must be going.
Margie.
Well, I'm sorry, Hoss. Good night.
I wish he'd hit you even harder.
You been waiting long?
Well, some. Your note said 1 o'clock.
How was Mr. Gilbert after we left?
He's all right. I think his head was hurting more from the liquor than it was the fight. However, that Connors throws a pretty good punch.
Hoss, please forgive me. After making you wait so long, I'm going to say no. I can't marry you.
Margie, I thought it was all set. I thought all I had to do was talk to your pa.
I'm going to be married to someone else in a month.
Someone else? This is the first I knew you had anybody else in mind.
Well, I didn't until a few days ago. Oh, Hoss, I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt you. Please forgive me. Listen, Hoss.
What's there to listen to?
Well, I had a speech, but now I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Margie. I hope you'll be very happy. You and... Who is it, anyhow?
Mark Connors?
I should know. Him and all this talk about Zanzibar and foreign places.
Well, that's just it, Hoss. We're going to do all sorts of wonderful things together. We're going to travel all over the whole wide world.
The whole world, huh? Best of luck, Margie.
I'm sorry I can't be what you want me to be. I'll return Junebug.
Yeah. I reckon Jimmy would be much good at traveling around the world. Bye, Margie.
Make sure you eat every bit of that. I want Hoss to come back and find you all spindly.
Hey, Joe, did you turn that team of bays out of the corral? Adam said that...
I got to thinking about Hoss. Kind of helps to come out here and see the filly.
Yeah. I come out here, too. So does Adam. The three of us are going to feed that filly to death.
Look, Pa, I think I ought to go after him. He's been gone for almost a month now.
Oh, Joe, you know, you could help him mend a broken leg or broken arm, but a broken heart he has to mend by himself. He'll be back when he's ready.
What about the wedding Sunday? Are we going?
Well, George Owens has been a neighbor for a good many years. Marge's been almost part of the family, more than a neighbor. I think we should go to the wedding.
I guess you're right.
George,
Well,
it's a proud day in your life.
proud as can be. I've got a fine daughter in Margie, if I do say so myself.
Yes, you have.
And I'm getting a fine son-in-law, too. Been all the way around the world, Mark has. Knows things you wouldn't believe.
Time you went in, George. Your daughter's waiting for you.
Yes. Ben, is Hoss coming to the wedding? Marge asked.
I'm afraid not, George. I haven't heard from him or seen him for about a month.
I'm sorry.
We might as well get on inside. Come a long way to see Margie get married. I don't want to miss it.
I take Mark Connors to my wedded husband and plight my troth till death do us part.
Whom God hath joined together, let no man put asunder.
prettiest girl in the whole world, Margie. You look fine. You look happy. I hope it's that way for you always.
Thank you, Hoss.
Kiss the bride.
Please.
Mr. Connors, got the finest girl in the whole world. Congratulations.
Why, thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
Yeah, Paul. Margie's father's in the house. Wants to see you. Seems to be rather important.
It's her marriage, Hoss. I'm afraid Margie's made a terrible mistake. And I'm to blame for having encouraged her to marry him.
She need help?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You don't know? Ain't you wrote to her? Ain't she wrote to you?
Yes, we corresponded at first. There was nothing in her letters to indicate there was any real trouble. Of course, she was disappointed that their round-the-world trip was continually postponed, but she was still looking forward to it. Then I began to hear just from Connors.
And?
It followed a pattern. He kept asking for more money in addition to the substantial sum I'd given them as a wedding present.
That don't sound like Margie.
As I say, the letters were from Connors. I finally wrote Margie protesting their
Mr. Owens. Here, sit down here. You all right, Mr. Owens?
It's nothing, Hoss. I'll be all right.
Here, drink this.
Thanks. These last few months, my worrying over Margie.
Mr. Owens, you just rest. Take it easy.
Some time ago, Margie finally wrote me. She told me she just learned that Connors had been bilking me out of money and asked me not to send him anymore. She said she was leaving Connors. I was not to try to find her. She was ashamed and humiliated. There was another woman.
Where was she at that time?
In San Francisco. I answered immediately and begged her to come home, but there was no reply.
You want me to try?
I'd go myself, Hoss, but the doctor says my heart won't stand it. If Margie's in real trouble, she'll need strength, not weakness.
What was her last address? Didn't leave an address?
It's a saloon on Coster Street. The woman said she worked there. I heard Margie call her Kathy.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll find her. What will it be, friend? I'm looking for a woman named Kathy. Does she work here?
A woman named Kathy owns half this place. What do you want her for?
Need to ask her some questions.
Ask away, big man.
Howdy, ma'am. Are you Kathy?
I'm Kathy. What can I do for you?
Ma'am, I'm looking for Margie Connors.
What makes you think that I can help you?
I think you can.
Now then, who are you and why are you looking for Margie?
My name is Cartwright. Most folks call me Hoss. I'm a good friend of Margie's and her father's. Her father sent me here to find her.
The rich Mr. Owens. Did he send any money?
Nope, just me.
That's too bad. Margie could better use money in her condition.
What condition?
She's gonna have a baby.
Is she all right?
She's as well as any woman could be, having a baby by a man like Mark Connors.
Where is she? I want to see her.
What do you plan to do?
I'm going to take her home where she belongs.
Well, home is where she belongs. All right, my big friend. I'm going to trust you. I don't know why, since you're a man. She's at the district hospital. Now, here's how you get there.
The doctor will be right out, Mr. Cartwright. Please be seated.
Thank you, ma'am.
This your first?
Hi?
This your first? Baby, I mean. My fourth. All girls up to now, but I'm sure it's going to be a boy this time. I told my wife.
Doc, are you Dr. Duffy?
You must be Mr. Cartwright.
Yes, sir. Hi, is she Margie? I mean, can I see her?
Yes, of course, but I can't understand why some member of her family hasn't contacted her now.
Doc, nobody could find her. I don't reckon she wanted anybody to see her or something.
Well, frankly, she still doesn't want to see anyone. It's a very troublesome attitude, Mr. Cartwright. A very serious lack of spirit, of hope, even of will to live.
You just let me see her. She ain't got nothing to worry about, Doc.
I hope so. Her attitude has me very worried. Come on, I'll take you to her room. She needs to be with someone she knows. I hope you can help her.
Margie? Margie? It's me, Hoss.
Go away, please. Go away. I don't want you to look at me.
Margie, you ain't got nothing to worry about. I come to take you home.
Hoss. Oh, I've been such a fool. Made such a mess.
Margie, all that's done with now. Like I said, I come to take you home.
Dear Hoss. I thought I didn't want to see anyone anymore. But now I'm glad you came. Papa.
He'd have come himself, but he said Dad burned sick of worrying about you. But as soon as I get you back, you'll be all right.
If anything happens, will you make sure the baby gets to Papa?
You listen to me. You and me and that baby are going to go right back to the Ponderosa, and we're going to build that house just like we planned. Margie, what's the matter?
It's just a pain.
Doc, come here. They're coming. Is he still hurt?
Oh, it's just a pain, Hoss. All women have them when they have babies. It doesn't hurt so much now.
Margie, I promise you that as long as you live, there ain't nothing else gonna ever hurt you in the whole wide...
In the whole wide world. Hoss, wasn't I foolish when I had it all right in front of me?
All right, Mr. Cartwright, you can go on back to the waiting room. I'll see you there.
I'll be waiting for you, Margie. Then we'll go home.
Yes, Hoss.
Sorry, Mr. Cartwright.
Sorry.
I was afraid of it. That lack of spirit, the will to live, just not there. Please give my sincere regrets to her family. But the baby's a fine girl. Healthy, pretty, just like her mother. She should be a comfort to the family. And I think in about 10 days she'll be able to travel. That should give you time to get a nurse to help you. In the meantime, I can be reached right here at the hospital through the next 10 days. Goodbye, Mr. Cartwright.
I'm sorry to hear it, Mr. Cartwright. I tried to help her, but I couldn't help her want to live.
I appreciate everything you've done. I need one more favor.
What is it?
I've got to have somebody to help me take care of the baby on the way back to Virginia City. Do you know anybody?
Yes, I think I can find somebody for you. Don't they think we ever close?
Dear Kathy. Well, Mr. Cartwright. Aren't you a long way from home, sir?
I told you I'd come after you, Connor.
Oh, please, Mr. Cartwright, don't be a hero. In the first place, I can outdraw you. And the second reason, I imagine you can feel in your back.
I thought you worked for me.
Only part-time, my dear Kathy. The rest of the time from me. He knows where the money comes from. And I imagine you've been satisfied with your share of it, too.
Neither one of you's fit to live.
Oh, dear. I'm terribly sorry that you're being unreasonable. I had hoped that your obvious feeling for my dead wife would persuade you to act as an emissary to her father on behalf of my baby daughter, of course. Oh, yes, I know. John there keeps me well informed about everything that happens.
What are you going to do, Mark?
What any loving father would do, I'm going to claim my child.
Oh, no, you ain't. Oh, no, you ain't. Margie's baby's going back with me.
Oh, don't be stupid, Cartwright. Legally, the baby is mine. Of course, I could be tempted to change my mind now, couldn't I? Why don't you go back to Mr. Owens and tell him that I will relinquish all rights to my daughter for a price, huh?
Oh, Mark.
You don't miss a trick, do you?
Not if I can help it, no. If you attempt to go for your gun, I'm afraid one of us is going to have to kill you first. In self-defense, of course. That was a very fine gesture, Mr. Cartwright, but I fail to see what you're going to accomplish by it.
I'm gonna kill you.
Huh? In view of the present circumstances, isn't that going to be rather difficult? Hmm?
You're a miserable human being. But they don't hang men for that. They do for shooting down an unarmed man. You ain't gonna pull that trigger, Connors. You ain't got the guts to hang, Connors.
I'll take care of it. You take Margie's baby home.
Turn Junebug loose?
Yep.
What's the idea? You hand raise her, then you turn her loose and let her go wild again.
She'll be happier out there on the range. I'll keep an eye on her, and maybe one of these days she'll have a colt. I can raise it for Margie's little girl.
Anything else I can help you with, Mrs. Banning?
No, thank you very much.
Mrs. Benning, I'm Ben Cartwright.
Mr. Cartwright, how good of you to extend your hospitality to a poor, sick stranger.
Well, really, the wife of Horace Banning is hardly a stranger.
What a very nice thing for you to say. This is my daughter, Melinda. Coachman, it's been a delightful experience.
Thank you, ma'am.
Might I suggest that in the future you try to keep your carriage a little bit cleaner?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Banning, my buckboard is right over there. I hope you won't find that one too dusty.
Oh, I feel sure that your conveyance will be more than satisfactory, Mr. Cartwright. Come along, Melinda.
Well, this is where the Ponderosa begins.
Why, this is the domain of an emperor.
Well, how do you like it, Melinda?
It's so different from home. It's like being in another world.
Well, we want you both to feel that this is your home, and we want you both to stay as long as you possibly can, or at least as long as Horace can bear to be without you.
Well, you do make us feel most welcome, Benjamin.
I wish Daddy were here.
So do I, darling. So do I. It is too bad that he couldn't have come out with us. But publishing a daily newspaper is quite a job.
You know,
It must be about 25 years since I've seen Horace. But even in those days, I knew he'd be a success. My boys, Hoss, little Joe.
Well, how wonderful it is to meet both of you. My, they're striking specimens, Benjamin. Must be your fine Ponderosa air here. Aren't they handsome, Melinda?
Yes, very.
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. Welcome to the Ponderosa.
We heard you was coming, Miss Benning. Paul told us you're in kind of bad health. Hope the Ponderosa and your stay here will make you feel better.
Well, thank you very much, Hoss. It's nothing serious, really. I'm just overtired.
I want to see the horses.
Come with me.
Outside.
I read about that once. I never dreamed I'd ever see a bucking bronco.
Have a good look.
It looks so dangerous.
We have to do it every day.
He's quite a daredevil.
It's my older brother Adam. He's a darn good horse breaker.
Horse looks like it's half wild.
He was all wild once.
It's hard to think of horses as being wild. Where I come from, they're all so gentle.
You gotta break them, and they won't do any work for you.
What is it that has to be broken, little Joe?
It's just the wildness that's in them. Adam? Well, this is my brother Adam. Adam, this is our guest, Melinda Banning.
Morning, Melinda. Welcome to the Ponderosa. I'm afraid we're going to have to excuse him for a minute. It's time for you to go to work, buddy. They got a little old horse over there all ready for you.
Oh. Stay right here. I'll be back.
Adam?
Yeah?
That was so exciting. It looked so very dangerous.
It's just a job. Watch him.
All right, turn him out!
That horse will carry him.
Well, it hasn't happened to him yet.
It stopped bucking now. Does that mean he's broken?
No, but most of the fight's out of him. Great, Joe. Just great.
Oh, you're not so bad yourself, brother. All you need's a little practice. What'd you think of the ride?
I don't know how you do it.
He doesn't either.
Thanks a lot. Well, you see, it didn't hurt the horse, and now it'll be useful.
No longer free to do what he wants, but useful.
Melinda, come along.
I must say I find myself a bit surprised at these Cartwrights. For all their money, they live out here like so many savages. Of course, that could be improved. And they are of good family. A bit uncouth, perhaps, but there's good blood there is. And their holdings, they're as vast as half the state of Maryland.
Mother?
And what you could do with this place, I can see it, the servants, the butlers, the footmen.
Mother, may I say something?
No, darling, not in that tone of voice. That always means that you're about to think for yourself. Anyhow, we said everything there was to be said before we ever left Baltimore.
But, Mother, please, just listen to me for a moment.
Yes, Melinda.
Are you sure? Are you quite sure that what we're doing is right?
Don't you know? In your heart, don't you know that what I'm doing is for your own good?
Mother...
Come on now. Get out of that tub and get dressed.
Mother, please listen to me.
Melinda, there is nothing sadder, more futile than foolishness. And you, my poor darling, seem to have been blessed with more than your portion, thanks to your father. But you're lucky, because to compensate, you have beauty. Beauty that was wasted in Baltimore, thanks to the way we had to live due to your father's continuous failures. But out here in Ponderosa, we're making that beauty work for us.
Mother, that isn't what I wanted to know. I know all that. I wanted you to tell me that what we're doing isn't wrong.
Wrong? Oh, no. No, of course not. Everything that we're doing is right. Happiness for you is right. Security for you is right. Security for your children. Darling, everything that we are doing is right. It's all right. How could I be anything but right, wanting all of this for you? Melinda? Baby, I have fought for your happiness from the day that you were born. But I'm getting tired. I really am. I'm awfully tired. There isn't a great deal of fight left in me. Selfishly, I've even been hoping that somewhere in your future there might be a little peace, a little satisfaction for me, too. No, don't cry. It'll ruin those wonderful eyes. You are a lovely girl. I merely want someone to appreciate that. Come on, let's get dressed. That was a delicious meal, Benjamin. Really delicious.
Well, thank you. I'm so pleased that you enjoyed your first meal at the Ponderosa.
I enjoyed it all thoroughly.
Miss Melinda, you ain't tasted nothing yet till you taste some of Hop Sing's Hong Kong mulligan.
Of course, Baltimore is noted for its food, especially seafood.
We catch some pretty fine trout around here, too.
Chincoteague oysters lying on a bed of glistening ice, and lobsters, first broiled and then served in melted butter. And our home brilliantly lit with hundreds of candles in crystal chandeliers, and in one part of the room a small orchestra playing gently and softly. Very often the music by that gifted young Polish composer, Mr. Chopin. And the servants, one behind each place, in the white uniforms, the white cotton gloves, the white stockings. And inevitably, the governor is the first one to arrive. He's always so prompt. But then he has great respect for my husband and Horace. Poor dear, dear Horace. How he fusses about the social life I impose upon him. But I think deep down he enjoys it just as much as I do.
I'm afraid he'd be rather disappointed in our primitive way of life out here.
Oh, no, not at all. You're wrong about that. Horace is a great out-of-doors man. You'd all like him so much. What do you know? His idea of a banquet is a hunt breakfast after an early morning exciting ride to the hounds. He has his own stables. Most of them are thoroughbreds.
I feel a little faint. I need some air. I think it was all the traveling today.
Oh, no, gentlemen, please sit down. Melinda's given to these momentary spells. Poor darling, she's been so delicately born and so delicately bred.
I think I better see that she's all right. Excuse me. Melinda, you all right?
I'm fine, little Joe. You shouldn't have left the others.
I saw that way you looked. It worried me.
You're nice, little Joe.
Hey, you don't talk much. Your mother seems to do it for both of you.
She's much wiser than I am.
Yeah. The things she was talking about, I've only read about them in books. Must be a lot different for you out here.
I like it here.
We like having you here.
It's such a wonderful feeling of family.
Yeah, I know. Pa talks about that all the time, the family. That's how everybody thinks of us around here, the Cartwright family.
You don't have to be here long to realize you all belong together.
Hey, sometimes I think we're together too much. It's a little rough on me being the youngest. Well, here I am talking about myself, and it's really you I want to talk about.
There isn't very much to know. Where I come from, I lead a very quiet life.
Quiet? What, with that house and all those servants and the governor coming to dinner all the time? Your father being a big newspaper publisher? What's the matter? You feel bad again?
It's nothing.
I mean, you're not disappointed in the way we live out here.
Oh, Joe, please. I can't stand these terrible lies anymore. Your awful stories about parties and servants and hunt breakfasts.
Until I conceived this idea of bringing you out here, you were irrevocably committed to the kind of life I've had. And nobody knows better than you what that's been. But here, out here, I've created a new image for you. You have glamour and distinction and mystery. And you mustn't do anything to alter that, darling. Not until after you and Joseph are married. Then it won't matter.
Why must it be little Joe?
Because Horst doesn't feel that way about you. And Adam is far too cunning. I watched him at dinner tonight. He'd be too difficult to control.
Suppose I don't love little Joe?
That doesn't matter. Marriage is a contract. No contract can be executed under the influence of emotion.
I suppose you're right.
Of course I'm right. You'll have a perfect marriage with Joseph. You'll be able to twist him around your little finger. Just think. You'll have everything your own way. Just think how happy you will be.
You've been twisting my father around your little finger for 25 years. Has it made you happy?
Who in the whole world could be happy with your father? For you, Melinda, it's going to be different. So different. And I ask you with all my heart to believe me when I say everything I'm doing, I am doing for you.
wonderful. Hey, that's just wonderful. What is it?
Well, the recipe's been in my family for generations. It comes from France. Do you have any wine?
Well, it's a little early in the morning for that, isn't it?
Not for me, silly. For the stew. I told you this recipe came from France.
Well, I don't think we have any wine around here.
If you think real hard, it'll come to you. It's in the pantry.
Oh, yeah, the pantry. Yeah, for the minister, I forgot.
I knew it would come to you.
Well, I'll get it.
I haven't seen much of you the last few days, Adam.
You haven't seen much of anybody except Joe.
I've missed you.
I'll bet you have.
No, Adam, believe me.
What kind of a woman are you? First it's Joe, and the minute his back is turned, it's me.
Adam, if you just let me explain, Adam.
Yes, Melinda?
I was going to ask you if you'd like to taste some of the beef stew.
No, I'd rather be surprised.
He's going to be surprised, all right. Wine and beef stew. What are the Frenchmen going to think of next?
That was the most delicious dinner ever served in this house, ever.
Don't thank me, Benjamin. Melinda's such a fine cook. She was instructed by one of the greatest culinary teachers in the world.
I like it better here at night. You can't see how big the country is.
I guess you must be getting pretty lonesome for home.
I suppose I am. Not the way it sounds. It's just that I'm used to it back there.
You think you could ever get used to the way it is out here?
You get used to love, little Joe, and then you don't have to get used to anything else.
Does that mean what I want it to mean?
You're sweet, little Joe. You're the nicest person I've ever met.
Well, you're pretty sweet yourself. I haven't been able to think of much else since you got here.
Then I'm glad I came.
Linda, I'd like to ask you a question if I thought you'd give me an answer now.
What answer do you want, little Joe?
You answered me.
Yes, little Joe.
Oh, this air. It really is invigorating, isn't it? It's like fine perfume.
Mother, the men may not like it, bothering them while they work.
Joseph asked you to come, did he not?
Yes, Mother.
Men adore women who show an interest in their work. It makes them so proud of their little achievements.
Mother, there's something I must tell you.
Please, Melinda, I have ordered you not to think. Benjamin.
Well, I got these side saddles. I hope they're what you're used to.
Benjamin, you don't think the boys would mind if we looked in on their work for a while, do you?
Mind? Why, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think you'd find the work we do in the Ponderosa very interesting. Now, you won't forget where they are. They're just over that next rise. Shall I help you up?
Oh, would you please?
Oh, boy.
I wonder who asked them out here.
Well, I did. Any reason why I shouldn't?
They're our guests, Adam.
All right, Melinda, you have a good ride?
Well, you enjoy yourself?
I should say we did. Thank you so much. Oh, there we are. That was just fine, just fine. Well, are you cooking?
No, ma'am, we're not.
You don't seem very glad to see us, Adam.
No, I was just thinking about your comfort. This might be a little rough on you.
Thank you very much, Adam. But you'll find that Melinda can accustom herself to anything that happens on a ranch.
Sure. Oh, let's get the cab, will you? Joe, get some more wood.
Right, Adam. Excuse me.
You're not going to burn that tiny thing.
All cattle look alike. It's the only way we have of putting our name on them. Besides, it's not really as bad as it looks. You got it?
What happened to her?
I told you the women shouldn't be here. Now, why don't you just go back to the house?
Adam, you don't have to talk to her that way.
All right, the girl's sick. Why don't you take her home?
I'll take her home, but only because she's sick. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I guess it threw me seeing her keel over that way. I'm sorry, Melinda.
Looks like little Joe's sort of stuck on that gal, don't it?
Yeah. Now, let's get back to work.
Yeah. Just remember, we all got to live here together, Adam.
Yeah. Get out of the cab, will you?
All right.
What kind of wire is that?
Barbed?
It's full of sharp points.
Experience. That's the best way to learn.
But it's so cruel.
Well, it goes along with everything else here. Breaking horses, branding calves. Everything's done with pain.
You don't have a patent on hurt.
Melinda, you are a guest here, and you're free to come and go as you please. But it is a working ranch, and at the moment, I'm pretty busy.
Leave me alone. Get away from me. I don't need your help.
Looks like you do. There you are.
I'm sorry, Adam. I don't know what led me to do that.
Adam, what are you doing?
Nothing, Joe, nothing.
What do you mean you're doing nothing?
Oh, come on.
Joe, what do you mean, wait a minute? That's the girl I'm going to marry.
Gonna marry?
It happened last night. I wanted to tell you when we were all together.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, didn't this happen awful sudden like? I mean, well, Joe, are you sure you love her?
More than anything in the world. So when I saw her with Adam...
Wait a minute now, Joe. Adam didn't know how you felt about Melinda. No, well, none of us did.
I suppose you're right. So I think I better set him straight.
No, wait, Joe. Joe, look, you go up to the house. Please, go up to the house.
Yes, sir.
Well, what happened?
Nothing. She got her dress tangled in the wire, and I helped her, that's all.
Did you know that Joe wants to marry her?
You're kidding.
No, he just told me.
When did all this happen?
Well, evidently last night.
Well, it can never be. She's not in love with him.
What do you mean?
She's not in love with him.
Look, Adam. Do you have any feeling for this girl yourself?
No. But that's not the point.
What is the point?
The point is, she kissed me. She kissed me, but she's marrying him.
Oh, this is developing into some situation.
Oh, that's for sure. Look, I think it might be a good idea if I got away for a couple of days. Go down to Tucson, maybe look at that new strain of beef, huh?
That might be a good idea.
All right, if they cost?
Yeah, sure.
Pop. What's going to happen if Joe marries her and then finds out that she doesn't love him?
Surprise, Deborah, surprise.
What in heaven's name are you doing here?
Hello, Deborah.
Horace, I asked you a question. What are you doing here?
Well, my dear, I'm afraid I have some unfortunate news.
Some unfortunate news? That means you've lost your job again. Well, that hardly surprises. Well, why did you come here? Of all times, why did you come here now?
But, Deborah, you're here. Where else would I go?
Any place in the whole wide world except here. Now, you get on that thing and you ride out of here just twice as fast as you came in.
But, Deborah, I don't understand. It's been such a long trip. I'm hungry and I'm tired. Why must I go? Why can't I stay here? Why can't I see Melinda and my old friend, Ben?
Because your old friend, Ben, is the last person in the world I want you to see right now. Horace, Melinda and Joseph Cartwright are going to be married.
Married? Why, that's just wonderful. Melinda and the son of my old friend. I think that's simply wonderful. Why, it looks like I got here just at the right time.
Horace, I have worked for weeks in time and in effort to bring this marriage about. And now you come along unexpectedly and spoil everything.
Spoil everything? How could I do that? Why would I do anything to hurt Melinda? I'm her father.
You are not Melinda's father.
Not a father?
You are not the father I have described to Ben Cartwright.
But Ben knows me. He knows I'm her father.
Ben Cartwright thinks Melinda's father is a successful businessman. He thinks we have lived in grace and splendor. He thinks she has known culture and wealth.
I don't know why you made up all those lies, but I know Ben Cartwright. And I know that whether Melinda had money or not wouldn't mean a thing to him if his son loved her.
You fool. You dull, thick-headed, idiotic fool. All your life, you've been avoiding reality.
Deborah, I don't think that's fair.
Well, this is one reality you're not going to avoid. You have always been a detriment to your daughter.
Deborah.
And now you are a threat to her future. If, as you say, you love her, if you really love her, you will get out of here. Don't bring her future happiness crashing down around her head.
Daddy! My little lady. Oh, how I've missed you.
And I've missed you too, Daddy.
Your mother tells me you're about to get married.
Yes, and now you can be here for the wedding, too. I was hoping for that. And Mr. Cartwright is going to be so pleased to see you. He talks about you all the time. Let's go see if we can find him.
No, Melinda, I'm not going to stay here.
You're not going to stay, but where are you going? You just got here.
Your mother, she thinks, well, it's better that I go away again. You know, Ben thinks I'm a successful, well, all he needs is one look at me and...
Yes, I see.
Your mother's right, you know. Oh, yes, she's right. The only thing important now is you. What happens to you? Mustn't let anything endanger that.
No, I suppose she's right.
Horace, will you please go before they come and find you here?
Melinda, I haven't been a very good father, I know that, but before I go, just tell me that you love this boy and that you'll be happy.
She has told you.
She's my child, Deborah, just as much as she's yours.
Now you get out of here. And if you do anything to interfere with this marriage, I swear by everything that's in me, I will kill you.
At this moment, Deborah, that might be an act of grace.
Horace? Horace! My golly, what a wonderful surprise!
Ben, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Too many years, Horace.
Isn't it wonderful, Benjamin?
Yes.
Now Horace is going to be here for Melinda's wedding after all. You were the one thing that was lacking, my darling. But now that you're here, everything's going to be all right. Oh, you must be so tired, my sweet. Come along. We'll get you washed up. Come along.
We'll talk, Horace. I'll get you things. Oh, Joe, did you see Melinda's father? I'll tell you, it was the most wonderful surprise when I...
Oh, what is it, Joe?
It's Melinda.
Oh, say, what was troubling her?
I don't know. She was crying. She said it was all the excitement about seeing her father.
Well, of course it was.
I guess it was. I'm probably just imagining things.
Well, what else could it have been?
I don't know. Just a feeling I have. I love her so much, Pa.
You do?
She's so beautiful.
Well, you've been around pretty girls before.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's everything about her, the way she talks, the clothes she wears, where she comes from. I've just never known a girl like her before. That's why I worry sometimes. I wonder if she can be happy out here. She's so used to the way it was back there.
Of course she will be.
And I see her cry. I guess I get a little scared, Pa.
Good evening, Ben. Nothing like a shave and a bath to make one feel like a new man.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling so much better. Will Melinda and Deborah be down shortly?
In a little while. You know women. It takes them longer to comb their hair than it takes a man to grow a beard.
Exactly what you mean. Well, dinner won't be ready for an hour anyway.
Another hour?
Hop Sing wants to outdo himself. Well, that'll give us a little time for a talk.
About old times, eh, Ben? I've been looking forward.
Well, not exactly about old times. I'd like to talk about your daughter and my son.
All right, Ben. How about the happy young couple?
That's just the point. Will they be a happy young couple?
Why, I don't understand. Deborah assures me this is going to be a perfect marriage. The young people, she says, are very much in love.
I'm worried about them, Horace.
Worried? Mm-hmm. What's there possible to worry about?
Well, for one thing, their backgrounds are so different. Joseph has spent most of his life right here on the Ponderosa. Oh, boys have been back east on visits, certainly, but he's a boy who's grown up on a ranch. While Melinda, well, you know her background better than I do, Horace. You know, the cultural pursuits, the elaborate social life, the elegance of your home.
Now, Ben, I don't think that's important.
It's important to Melinda. If she has to give it all up for this kind of life. Oh, well, we like it, of course. It's what we know. But your daughter, do you think she loves Joseph enough to want to give up all the wonderful things that you provided her with back east for this kind of life? Life on a ranch.
Ben, I'm sure Deborah knows what's best.
Horace, please. This is not Deborah's decision. It's Melinda's. Ask her. Now, she won't keep the truth from you any more than you would from me.
Ben, there's something... You're right. I won't lie to you. I mean, I wouldn't lie to you. But lies have been told you about me and my success and Melinda and her background.
Well?
None of it. None of it's true. Nothing is further from the truth. I don't even have a job. Deborah concocted the whole elaborate scheme.
Why would you have to do a thing like that?
To snare a husband for our daughter.
But does she have to pretend to be rich? Does she think I'm looking for rich wives for my sons?
My wife's ambitious. I guess she's had to be with a failure for her husband. What she did was wrong, Ben. Very wrong. But she did it out of a sincere desire to provide Melinda with a good home, with the kind of life that Deborah's always wanted and never had.
That's not the question now, is it? The important thing is, does Melinda love Joseph? Or would she marry him for money, for a share of the Ponderosa, comforts that could be provided her?
I honestly don't know, Ben. All her life, Deborah's been telling her what to like, what to think, what to do. Melinda, there's something I must ask you.
Yes, Father. I heard you talking to Mr. Cartwright. I know what I must do. Where is little Joe, Mr. Cartwright?
Well, he's out of the barn. His horse went lame. He's tending to him. She's a fine girl, Horace. I'm glad you're both so honest.
I'm glad we both finally found the courage.
Kind of rough for them out there.
Yes, but it would be better than a lifetime of unhappiness. I'll tell Deborah. We'll be leaving for Baltimore in the morning, Ben.
Horace, there's no need for you to go back to Baltimore if you don't want to. I have a friend who's a publisher in San Francisco. Could be a Fresh start for you. You could use a good man.
I'm sorry, Joe. Not only for what my mother and I tried to do, but that we didn't fall in love.
I fell in love.
No, at least not with me. You fell in love with something my mother created. You can't stay in love with something that never existed.
Everything's ready, Mr. Banning.
Daddy, Mother?
I don't know. She's in there with Ben.
I'm not sorry for what I did. Not one iota.
Well, I can understand that, Deborah.
You, with all your money and your empire of the Ponderosa, how could you understand?
I didn't inherit the Ponderosa. I worked to build it.
But you've never known what it's like to be really poor. To scrimp and pinch and sacrifice. To feel ashamed, humiliated, and even angry at poverty. And to swear by all that's holy that the same thing won't happen to your daughter.
Deborah, to want the best for your child, to fight for it, that's a fine thing. But to force her into your idea of her future, that's wrong.
Wrong. Wrong for me to want the security and peace of a marriage for my daughter.
Money can't guarantee that. Only love.
Love. Horace and I married for love. Now look at us.
I am looking. And I see a lovely young girl who loves her mother so much that she tries to obey her even though it almost breaks her heart. And I see a husband who loves his wife still in spite of the indignities and humiliation she heaps on him. I see two people who love you, and they're waiting for you outside. I wrote a friend of mine, a publisher in San Francisco. I'm almost certain he'll give Horace a job. It'll be a fresh start for all of you. Go with them.
Goodbye, Ben. And thank you for everything.
Goodbye, Horace. Good luck. Goodbye, Melinda.
Goodbye, Mr. Cartwright. And thank you.
Hey, Toby, my cup's empty. Seems to me like you ought to be springing to your feet and fetching me another, huh?
Can't spring a lick till the sun's up for a full hour. Got about 40 minutes to go yet. Why don't you spring for yourself?
Oh, that wouldn't be seemly. You're the station manager. Station manager's supposed to wait on folks.
I wait on the horses.
Heck of a way to run a stage line.
Heck of a stage line.
I won't argue that.
Reno stage missed its connections. I had to stay here all night. Straw to sleep on. Bugs to bite me. And you snoring. And to top it all off, I had to get up first this morning and make the coffee.
Well, the right kind of a customer would have went out and fed the stock.
Seems to me I heard a horse.
Got a whole corral full.
No, this was kind of far off out there somewhere.
Reckon I left that corral gate open again?
It'd be just like you.
Do you mind springing up and going out and taking a look?
I don't mind how I do, but I'll have to get my strength up first.
How long that take?
About an hour, maybe 2.
Horses will all be gone by then.
I expect so.
You know, this is the 3rd bunch I've lost in the past 2 weeks. What in tarnation?
Away from me, Toby!
Toby, that was a foolish thing to do.
You was going to let him get away.
They wouldn't have got very far.
You stay right here. Don't try to talk.
You could have helped me. I never took you to be yellow.
No use going up against drawn guns. Besides, I knew one of them. Short fellow was Bill Enders. Now, how far could he get with me knowing who he was? Toby. Toby Barker.
Barker? Toby Barker.
I'm not
calling you a liar. I just want you to be sure you know what you're saying.
I know what I'm saying.
It's pretty hard to believe. If somebody had come in here an hour ago and asked me what I thought of Bill Enders, I'd have told him that he was a fine young fella with a real nice wife, well thought of around town, pretty good businessman. Well, Adam, you are in business with him, ain't you?
We own shares in the same mining claim along with 2 other people.
Proves right there that you thought he was all right. About the only thing a man could say against Bill Enders is that he likes Pharaoh more than he should. But shucks, you could say the same thing about me if you're a minder. But Adam, he is better with a gun than most.
I know how good he is.
I got a lot of respect for your judgment, Adam. The whole town has. You're a Cartwright, but Jim and Nutley, if you're wrong about this thing, it's going to cause an awful lot of trouble. Folks are going to say that Bill had a right to go gunning for you for ruining his name.
What do you want me to do? Back away from it? Forget I saw him kill Toby?
No, I just want you to be cold, dead sure that it was Enders you saw do the killing before you stir up a lot of trouble.
Well, I'm cold, dead sure.
Would you be willing to go with me right now and say that to his face?
Let's go.
What's going on?
Come on down to jail, Bill.
What for? What have I done?
I want to talk to you about the killing of Toby Barker.
I don't know anything about that.
I got a man says he recognized you.
Recognize me? What do you mean?
He says you done the killing. Now, come on.
Wait a minute. You can't be serious.
I'm serious. Are you coming willing or not?
Who says I killed Toby?
I say so.
Adam. You're wrong, Adam.
No, Bill, I'm not wrong. I recognized you the minute I saw you. Toby died a few minutes after you shot him.
Come on.
Adam, to accuse a man of murder without positive evidence is a terrible injustice. But to accuse a friend...
I have positive evidence. I saw a man killed, another man who killed him. Is it an injustice not to want Toby's murderer to go free?
Well, you know the man who killed him. How do you know him?
How do I know anybody? I've seen him before. Bill Enders, nobody else.
Now, he had a hood over his head. Isn't that what you told us?
Yes.
Well, was he wearing any special clothes?
No.
Did you see any scar or a tattoo on his hand? Was he wearing a fancy gun? Anything to brand him?
No.
Well, if there were no distinguishing marks and he was wearing a hood over his head, how can you be so sure it was Bill Enders?
Because I'd know Bill Enders if he were wearing a sack clear down to his ankles.
Adam, that's no proof, no evidence. Not to back the kind of charge you're making.
Look, if I put a sack on his head, and I put a sack on his head,
yeah.
It wouldn't make any difference what kind of clothes they're wearing. You know who they are. Oh, it's little Joe, because that's who they are and nobody else.
There has to be more.
What do you mean by more?
Motive for the robbery. Is Bill Enders in any financial difficulty? Enough to rob? Now, you're his business partner. You should know.
I don't know.
You don't know? You say he killed Toby. And all the time you've been with Bill, have you ever seen him lose his temper to the point of violence, of killing?
No, I don't think so.
But yet you accuse him of robbery and murder. You know he's guilty.
What do you want from me? A denial? You want me to forget what I know?
I want you to recognize the doubts that'll be in other people's minds.
Well, I'm not really concerned with their doubts. They weren't there. I was. I know that Enders killed Toby, and I'll
Live with that as long as I breathe.
Oh, I don't know why you gotta be so rough on him. Looks like you could just take his word for it.
Adam's only doing what he thinks is right.
I've got to be rough on him. He's heading for a real storm of trouble ahead. See, if I can rattle him, if I can shake him, well, then maybe Adam isn't so sure about his accusations. But if he can hold his conviction firmly against me, it's a strong conviction, probably a right one. He can hold it against anyone.
Come on, will you hurry? I ain't got all day to hang around here with you, Adam. I got a week's chores I gotta get done today.
It seems to me when you find a job that you're good for, that you want to do your best with it. Work hard, work up.
How you supposed to work up when you're holding down a job?
Well, you could eat more, get fatter, put on more weight. First thing you know, somebody wants you to bear down on a pole that's prying up the edge of a barn.
Don't you get smart with me, young man. I'm liable to lose my temper and decapitate you or something.
Howdy, Hoss.
Hi, Roy.
Adam, it turns out that you were wrong about Bill Enders killing Toby Barker.
I wasn't wrong.
I'm afraid you were. Now, it happened about 20 minutes after sunrise in Goat Springs. Isn't that what you said?
That's right.
Well, I've got witnesses that saw Enders in Virginia City less than 2 hours after sunrise. So I had to let him out of jail.
Well, Enders couldn't have been in Virginia City an hour and a half after killing Toby.
That's right. The man couldn't travel that far in that length of time. So that proves that he was not in Goat Springs.
It's quite the other way around. It proves he wasn't in Virginia City.
Adam, I've got witnesses.
This can't be wrong.
The witnesses I'm talking about are Mrs. Kramer and her daughter. Now, you don't find more responsible ladies anyway. In this case, it just worked out that you were mistaken.
I am not mistaken. Adam wasn't mistaken.
We're only human. We use human eyes, human brains, human judgment. Why can't you admit that?
are sometimes. I don't mean you, Adam. I mean my husband. He seems to think a gun is the answer to everything.
She showed me the light. Said that no decent man would make an exception for a friend when a thing like a murder was concerned. You're as decent as they come, Adam. You thought you saw me gun down Toby. You have to stick with that until you're proven wrong. I shouldn't blame you for it. It cost you. I should admire you. And I do, Adam. Must be miserable for you to call a friend a murderer.
That's right, Bill. It's miserable.
All right, now, let's just leave it as it is. Still a few minutes to go. It's going to be all right. Don't you worry now. We'll all be laughing about this before the day is out.
Well, been more than 2 full hours.
I know. I've been watching the clock.
Change your mind about Bonanza yet?
No.
Well, how do you explain the difference in time?
I don't.
Here he comes! Here comes the Pony Rider!
It's the Pony Rider, Paul. Looks like he's ridden that horse half to death.
Well, Jim gave it a good try.
Jim did the best he could. And it still took him 2 hours and 5 minutes to ride from Goat Springs to Virginia City. Now, that should clear Bill Enders.
It seems to.
Only seems to?
Bill Enders killed Toby Barker, Pa, and nothing's gonna change it.
Adam? Why me? I keep asking myself that. Why me? All the men in the territory. A lot of them don't know any better way of making a living except stealing. Why'd you have to think of me when you saw that thief? Oh, I always thought we were friends. Maybe not close friends, but better than just hello and how are you. We even got a little business deal going. I just don't understand why you thought of me at a time like that. I never tried to hurt you, or cheat you, or steal from you, did I? Why, you never heard of me do anybody wrong, did you? No, you didn't. You couldn't. Tell you what I'd like to do. Now that Jim Beckett's proved I couldn't have done it, I'd like to forget the whole thing. Take it like it never happened. Go on from where we left off. Are you willing?
Bill, I saw you and another man rob the station at Goat Springs. I saw you fire the shot that killed Toby. Now, I'm not going to change my mind about it. I'm not going to forget it. I'm going to keep on saying it and trying to prove it until you stand trial. Or till they bury me.
Adam, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this to me? You gotta have a reason. No man tries to lie another man onto the gallows without a reason. Well, what is it? Tell me. You want me to hang. You want me dead and out of the way. Why? Is there something about that mining claim I don't know about? A pocket of gold, maybe? A new vein of silver?
You know better.
Do I? What about my wife? She's a beautiful woman. None prettier in 1,000 miles. You've been kind of friendly with her now I think about it. Real friendly. She the reason you want me out of the way? So that you and her can get together? Give me your gun, Arch.
No, Bill, you asked for that when you had it coming.
Sammy, give me yours.
No, Sammy, don't give it to him.
Give me that.
Adam, you'd better get out of here before you get yourself killed.
Adam, how far does a man have to go to fulfill a moral obligation? Does he ever reach a point where he can say, I've done everything reasonable men can expect me to do. This is the end of it. I'm through. Does he ever reach that point?
I shouldn't think so unless it actually was the end of it.
Well, let's look at this thing a little closer. Except for your brothers, you stand alone in this business, don't you?
What about my father?
Did you really have to ask that question?
No, I guess not.
Well, in any case, everyone you know, the sheriff, businessmen in town, housewives, the children, all feel the same way. They think you're dead wrong about Enders.
I know.
And yet they are the very ones for whom you're fulfilling this obligation, aren't they?
I expect so.
I don't think they'd find fault with you if you decided to stop right now. As far as they're concerned, you're out to destroy a man most of them like. I think they'd rather you quit.
True enough.
Huh? What are you going to do?
I'm going to think it over. Maybe I'll turn out to be a bigger coward than either one of us thinks.
You hadn't received my note, or you wouldn't come if you had.
Well, I got here as quickly as I could.
Please. Come. Sit here. There's so much to say, I don't know where to start.
Well, why don't you try the beginning?
Of course. Good, sensible Adam. You always know what's best. Adam, I want to ask you a favor. A personal favor for an old friend.
You the old friend?
Adam, almost everyone in town seems to agree that Bill is not the man who killed Toby Barker. In fact, you seem to be about the only one who won't accept that fact.
So?
Bill has been trying very hard to make something of himself. In a business sense, I mean. I've tried to help him. I think he has a pretty good chance. But you're Adam Cartwright. Anything you say, anything, even if you're honestly mistaken, is bound to influence people to some degree. If you go on saying that Bill killed Toby Barker, it might just be the end of all his chances.
Well, what would you have me do, Mary?
Stop saying it.
Even though I'm sure.
Yes, Adam. Say to yourself, I was honestly mistaken, but mistaken after all. Won't you do that for me?
You're asking a lot, Mary. I'm afraid not.
Oh, Adam. You've always liked me, haven't you, Adam? I know you have. And I felt the same way about you, whether you knew it or not. Oh, Adam. We could be much closer, Adam. We were careful about it.
It won't work, Mary. All you've done is to tell me that Bill is guilty. I'm sorry.
Is this it?
Yeah. Seems to me a man could leave the road here, come out on that flat down below, cut over by that hogback, and go north and east. I think it'd cut off at least 5 or 6 miles.
Yeah, you reckon a man run a horse through there, though?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Well, hey, Adam, come here. Fresh tracks. Been a couple horses by here recently.
Yeah, well, it could have been anybody. Let's take a look and see if we can't find out where they came from.
Right. Hey, Adam, come here. A carcass. Horse looks to me like he was rode to death. See how he sweated?
Could have been. It's beginning to look better all the time.
You sure you ain't overlooking nothing?
Not on your life. Brand on that horse won't be hard to trace either.
All right, Adam?
I just tore my shirt and a little hide, that's all. He's up in those rocks somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, I think I seen something.
All right, let's smoke him out.
Who is it? Stewart. What do you know about that?
Yeah, he's the other one. I never figured it to be him.
Yeah. Well, I reckon we might as well get him on back into town. The sheriff might not have figured it either.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, all right. I saw him. I know it was Art Stewart.
What, are you going to say I'm wrong again? That Art Stewart didn't have anything to do with robbing and killing Toby?
Of course I'm not. The brand on the dead horse says it belonged to Stewart, and he certainly wouldn't try to bushwhack you unless he had a good reason. But I am going to say that I think you're doggone lucky. Lucky to have stumbled onto what you did, and lucky to have lived through it. And I'm also going to say if people would leave the sheriff's work to the sheriff, I think we'd all be a lot better off.
Is that all that's bothering you?
No, it ain't. You know why your pa's here? I asked him here, that's why. Something has come to my attention that's just about ruined my faith in human nature. In fact, I didn't know which way to turn. That's why I asked him in for his advice.
Well, what is it?
It's Mary Enders. She come in here and told me what you had been up to with her, and I'll swear I was never so shocked in my whole life. You, of all people.
And what did Mary Enders say?
Well, sir, she was sitting right in that chair there where you are, with the tears trickling down her cheeks, all broke up, a-wishing she were dead. A decent, happily married young thing like that, Adam, how in the world could you do such a thing?
Now, wait a minute, Roy. Look, I told you before, this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't believe a word of that story.
Maybe you're right, Ben. But people are still going to say that the reason Adam was claiming that Bill Enders shot Toby was to get Bill out the way so he could get married.
Now, just hold on there, will you? I'll go along with you in your criticism of Adam's stubbornness. I criticize that myself. But this is not, it's absolute nonsense.
Now, are you saying that Mary Enders was lying to me?
She was lying. She knew Bill was away that morning. She knew that he and Art Stewart robbed that station, and she knows that Bill shot Toby.
Well, of all the butt-headed, stubborn numbers I've ever come in contact with in my life, you were the worst. Now, Bill Enders did not kill Toby, and I've got 2 witnesses who've already proved that he was in Virginia City at the time the crime was being committed in Goat Springs. And furthermore, I've got the man who did kill Toby in a cell behind them doors.
Well, if it's not Bill Enders, you got the wrong man.
Oh. There he is, Sammy Yates.
Sammy admit he was guilty?
Of course not. You expect a man to admit to something that's going to hang him?
Well, what about the gold coin?
We found $1,500 of it Goat Springs money hid in a mattress on his bed.
And what did he say when you found it?
Just exactly what you'd expect him to say. He didn't know nothing about it.
Well, he was telling you the truth. Sammy didn't rob the station, and he didn't kill Toby. Enders did and planted the money to make Sammy look guilty.
Oh, the devil he did. Look, Sammy fits your description, don't he? He's the right size?
Yeah, he's the right size.
He was Stewart's errand boy. Don't it make sense he'd help him out in the holdup? Then what makes you so dad-blasted sure it wasn't him?
Because it was Enders.
No. Ben, this is your son. Can you talk some sense into his head?
I think it'd be a waste of time, Roy. Pretty hard to change his mind once he has that look on his face. Particularly when he may be right.
Gentlemen, I've had just about all of you Cartwrights that I can take for one day. Now it's my job to save your life if I can. But I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I'm going to lay down the law to you. Now, from now on, you stay out of this case, and you stay away from Mary Enders, and you keep your mouth shut about Bill Enders. Now, that's an order. You hear me?
I hear you.
Now, get him out of here. And if I was you, I'd take him clean out of the country, because he ain't apt to live a long time if he lingers around here.
Where's Hoss?
He took the body over to the funeral parlor. I told him I'd meet him later over at the saloon.
Yeah, well, let's go get him. I could do with a little something after that session.
You could do with a little something.
look tired. Sit down and have a beer.
That's what we're doing. All right, Adam. I know why you've been trying to lie me onto those gallows. I know about you and Mary. She told me what you've been doing. Now step out here and let's see what I can do to you.
Not today, Bill.
Draw.
No.
You dirty yellowback.
Nope.
You sneaking, thieving, lying coward.
No.
Stand up like a man or I'll gun you down where you are.
I'm not gonna draw against you, Bill.
I'm gonna count to 3, Adam. Then I'm gonna draw. I'm not fooling, Yellowback. I'll count to 3.
You just count to 1, Enders, and I'll cut you square in half. There'll be no gunfight today. Then you get your boy out of town. Come on.
Well, I've got nothing to say.
What about you?
Wouldn't have been a fair fight anyhow, Adam. He's faster on the draw. Ain't no use in getting yourself shot.
I still think I should have given him a try, though, huh?
I don't know. Folks are gonna say you're scared.
Folks would be right. But I didn't want him to get away with 3 killings.
What do you mean, 3?
Well, he killed Toby Barker. That's 1. If he killed me, that'd be 2. And with me gone, they'd hang Sammy Yates, and that makes 3. Now, you tell me, is the family pride worth 3 lives?
I don't know.
I'll give Anders a shot at me if it'll make you feel any better, but right now I'm going to prove that he killed Toby.
How are you going to do that?
I'm going to start out by making the ride from Goat Springs to Virginia City in an hour and a half.
Exactly 8 o'clock.
So do I.
He's on his way.
He's on his way. To kill himself, trying to make a lie look like the truth.
I'll be in the hotel lobby if you need me before the hour and a half's gone by.
All right, Ben.
I was getting worried you wouldn't get here in time.
I'm here.
You know the area above Birch Creek.
I looked it over on the way in.
You can see a pretty good piece of the road from there. Think you can stop Cartwright from that point?
That's what you're paying me for.
On your way, then.
I heard that, Bill. I won't allow you to do it. Not another murder. I won't let you.
What's the matter, Mary? Conscience or fright? Either one, it's too late now.
I've been bothered with both my conscience and my fright ever since Adam Cartwright accused you of killing Toby.
I'm not going to argue with you, Mary. What's done is done. What's got to be done can't be stopped.
I didn't know about the other one until after it was over. This I know about.
All right, Mary. What do you want to do? Tell the sheriff about me? You want to see your husband hang? And then what? Live with that for the rest of your life? You see? What would you do without me for the rest of your life?
Enemy running 10 minutes behind.
I'll kick him harder.
I don't miss much at this range. Drop it.
Sure surprised me.
Sheriff, I lied to you. Adam Cartwright had nothing to do with me. And my husband, Bill Enders, killed Toby Barker.
Bill, hold on there. Stand clear, boys. Hey, you hold on. Bill!
I didn't make it.
You didn't make it? We were right behind you.
Mary Enders confessed to Sheriff Coffey before I got here.
Mary confessed?
Bill's gonna stand trial for Toby's murder.
Well, thanks to Adam. Thanks to what we called his stubbornness. For a man to hold on to his convictions takes courage. It's a good ride, son. All the way. Now, come on, let's get home and get those chores done. Here we are. Welcome to the Ponderosa.
Oh, it's beautiful, Mr. Cartwright.
Has the feel of a fine clipper ship.
Out here all alone in a sea of green and brown?
Father sees the briny in everything he looks at, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, he has salt water in his veins, Laura. Well, come on in, folks. Here, let me take that, Laura.
Fine quarters, Benjamin. A man's house.
Well, we find it very comfortable. The boys and I are very happy here. Laura, why don't you sit down?
Where are the lads?
They should be finishing their chores pretty soon.
I believe my daughter's anxious to see the one she made mud pies with.
Oh, Father.
Well, Laura, I guess Joseph is no longer that freckle-faced boy that you remember. He's grown up, just like you.
Oh, I'm sure he has, Mr. Cartwright.
Matthew, how about a sherry?
Aye, thank you.
Laura?
No, thank you.
Hey, how long a leave of absence are you taking from the sea, Matthew?
Indefinite.
Indefinite? You taking an indefinite leave of absence from the sea? You know, that doesn't sound quite like you.
I owe some time to my daughter.
We've been separated so much. He thought he'd finally like to know his daughter.
Her mother died while I was at sea.
Oh.
We've been at a bit of a loss, Laura and I.
Well, then I'm doubly glad you came to the Ponderosa.
It's what Laura wanted.
Captain White, Laura. Didn't expect you here until tomorrow.
Well, the stagecoach picked up fair winds between St. Louis and Virginia City.
Wonderful.
Good thing I was in town for the cattle auction, wasn't it?
And Laura, it just doesn't seem possible. The last time I saw you in New Orleans, you were about so tall.
Well, you weren't much taller, Joe.
I guess 12 years does make a big difference. It certainly has on you. You're pretty as a picture.
I don't make mud pies anymore, either.
Yeah, well, I don't eat them anymore, either.
You remember this, Joe?
Did you keep this thing?
Yes, all these years. You picked it for me in our garden the day you left New Orleans.
That's right, I remember. That was to remember me by. Look, I wish I'd known you were coming earlier, Captain. I hate to run out on you like this, but I have an important engagement. But I'll see you tomorrow morning. Laura, it's real nice to see you again. Pa, don't worry, I'll be home early.
The young people these days seem to be so busy all the time. He really didn't expect you today. You must excuse him.
Of course.
That finishes it for today.
I guess we can start breaking that bunch of wild horses next week.
Yeah, I can't wait to tangle that old bay. I'm gonna ride that son of a gun this time if I have to hog time and hobble him.
Let's just try sitting on him.
Oh, you're funny. That gun, I sure don't like the feel of that wind.
It's too early in the year for a storm.
Maybe not. It's blowing hard out of the northeast. I've seen it cloud up and storm this early before.
I don't know. My bunion's been hurting me ever since day before yesterday.
Yeah, your bunions hurt you on a hot day in July.
Yeah, there's a difference, though, Adam. It's like a toothache and a headache. They both ache in the same place, but there's a difference.
No?
I figure it'll be raining before day after tomorrow.
If you two soothsayers are right, we're not going to be breaking horses next week. We're going to be trying to keep the house afloat.
Hey, Joe. I can't understand why you want to prowl around like a lobo wolf every night when you got a pretty little gal like that right here in your backyard. Ain't she a cute little gal? Just like one of them snowflowers. What do you call them?
Edelweiss. Don't you think so, Joe?
I don't think what?
Laura's a pretty girl.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Why do you ask?
Just an observation.
You two fellas go right on observing. I got some work to do in the wagon.
Sure.
Hi, did you have a good night's sleep?
Yes, thank you.
Good. I'd like to apologize again for last night. I had that date and I had to keep it.
It's perfectly all right. I didn't think I'd ever see you again after all these years, Joe.
Hey, what brought you and your father clear out here anyway? He's not giving up the sea, is he?
Oh, he couldn't give up the sea. It's his life. If you give up the things you live for, then you might as well be dead. Father and I have traveled all over the world together. We've even been to Africa.
You've done a lot of traveling since we were kids in New Orleans.
I know. It's hard to believe that so much time has passed since then.
Yeah. It sure is. You know, you're so different from the little girl I knew back home.
We go on thinking that nothing changes. I'm so terribly sorry that things have to change.
Laura, what is it? What's wrong?
Oh, it's a little dizziness. It'll go away very quickly. I'm all right. I shouldn't have run so fast.
You want to help me into the house?
Laura, what is it?
Oh, I'm all right, Mr. Cartwright. It's nothing. I just felt a little weak.
Well, why don't you sit down?
Thank you.
Let her be, Ben. I'll take her upstairs.
Well, Matthew, I think she ought...
I know what's best for my own daughter.
I'm perfectly all right, Father.
You'll come up and lie down for a bit.
I wonder what's wrong with her, Pa.
Well, Matthew says she hadn't been feeling too well lately. Very delicate girl. Very much like her mother in that way. She was like fine glass, her mother.
I sure hope the Ponderosa weather makes her feel better.
Well, I'm sure it will. Laura, you must be feeling better. You certainly did justice to your supper.
I feel wonderful, Mr. Cartwright, and the supper was delicious.
Good.
Sure was. I think I'm going to go back there and get me another one of those legs.
Another leg? That wasn't a chicken, that was a deer.
I think I can handle that, too, Al.
You know, Hoss uses a chicken leg to pick his teeth with.
Matthew, I suppose you haven't had venison for some time.
Aye. The meat's good.
You know, we don't have any sharks around here, but we do run into wolves and horse-killing panther. How'd you like to go hunting with us tomorrow?
Why not, Captain? Be glad to pick out a gun for you. You might even get a bear.
No, I think not, Adam. The sea's my hunting place. The land tricks my legs and my eye. I think Laura and I'll just stay around the house.
Why don't you go with Adam, Father? Maybe I can talk Joe into taking me for a ride up to the lake.
We've had a long, hard trip. You need your rest.
Oh, please, Father. I'm much too excited to rest.
You'll do as I say.
I'm not a child, Father.
I know what's best for you.
Please excuse me.
I would have taken you anywhere. Australia, the South Seas. You insisted on coming here.
I thought you wanted to come here, too.
Because I thought it would please you. Make you happy.
Hey, remember how I used to take those flat stones and try to skim them across the water? Gee, I was a skinny kid, wasn't I?
I didn't think so.
Hey, see that cabin over there? That's gonna be mine someday. I'm gonna fix it up. Oh, there's a view of the countryside from the other side of that cabin.
You should be very happy here.
You know, the first time I saw this place, I knew it was gonna be mine. Did you ever have a feeling like that? I mean, you see something and right away you know it has to be yours.
Yes. What's that flower?
I don't know exactly. People around here call it the snow star.
It looks so alone and delicate.
Yeah, it's the first one I've seen up here this year. Must have bloomed before its time. I'll get it for you.
Be careful, Joe.
Oh, don't worry about me. There's nothing to this.
Good thing I'm graceful.
That'll make a star for your hair. The horse! That lightning must have spooked him. Uh-oh, here comes the rain. Let's get out of here. Hey, you all right?
Oh, I'm just out of breath. I'll be all right in a minute.
Hey, we better get those wet clothes off you. Come on inside.
The storm began so suddenly.
Whew. It's too far to walk back in the rain. Just gonna have to sit and wait it out here. I'll get a fire started. You'll be dry in no time.
Who lived here, Joe?
Oh, a fella from Kentucky. Pa gave him this property and he built this cabin on it.
What happened to him?
He just disappeared.
Didn't anyone ever find out what happened to him?
Not exactly. Pa says he built this cabin for his wife. She was supposed to come out here from Kentucky on a wagon train. The train was raided by Indians and she was killed. I was just a little kid at the time, but I remember him. He was a big, gentle man. Knew everything about the woods around here. They say one night he heard his wife's voice calling to him and he went out and followed it. I never saw him again. I guess people like to make up ghost stories.
Is that why no one's ever lived here?
Yeah? Yeah, they say the place is haunted. There. Hey, we better get you out of those wet clothes before you catch cold.
But,
Oh, yeah, you need something to put around you. Hey, here we are. It's got a few moth holes in it, but it's better than catching pneumonia.
would you turn your back, please? Turn your back?
Oh, sure.
Where are they, Ben? I know Laura's with your boy. I saw them leave together.
Well, I'd say they've taken shelter somewhere, Matt.
Where can you take shelter in that howling wilderness?
Probably up at the Kennedy Ranch. They were headed up that way.
I want a horse, Ben.
Matt, Adam and Hoss are out there now looking for them.
Are you going to get me that horse, or do I get it myself?
You can have any horse in the Ponderosa if it'll do you any good.
I've faced gales that'd tear the skin off your face. I'm not going to sit here like a frightened cabin boy.
I faced them too, Matthew. We'll go out only if I think we should.
If I hadn't have brought her here, this wouldn't have happened. It's your boy's doing. He's not the right kind for her.
That's not fair, Matt.
Fair or no, if anything's happened to Laura, he'll answer to me for it.
You don't know what you're saying. Now, will you please calm down and try to be reasonable?
Reasonable? Do you think I don't know what kind of boy that is? I've seen his type before. On every ship and in every port I've sailed into.
Now, wait a minute. My son may be young, and he may be foolish, but he's honest, and he's honorable. I trust him with my life, and so can you.
Almost dry.
I wish it'd never dry. It's been a wonderful day, Joe.
A wonderful day. First I fell in the pool, and the horse ran away. Now we're caught in a storm, and you think it's a wonderful day.
Oh, you know what I mean. Just being with you. If I could stop this day from ending, I would.
Well, I guess there isn't any way to stop a day from ending.
Well, we could pretend. We used to.
Well, that's when we were kids. It's no good to pretend anymore.
I wish we could bring those days back.
You know, when I first saw you on the Ponderosa, I kind of thought of you as you were when you were a little girl back in New Orleans. But you're not like that. You're not like that at all.
finish up our coffee. Better get the horses saddled up.
Father, back.
Have you lost your senses, Matthew? Calm down.
Joe. Joe.
Hi. I came as soon as I heard you weren't feeling well.
It's silly. I feel sort of shaky.
You know, it's all my fault for getting us stuck up there.
I wouldn't have missed it for anything in the world. The flower in my hair, it's gone.
Yeah, well, don't you worry about that. I'll pick you a whole field of flowers. You just get well. Look, I have to go now.
Don't leave me, Joe.
No, I'll be back. I want you to rest. Think about a warm fire and the sun on the riverbank. I'll see you later.
I love him, Father.
You don't know what love is, nor does that boy.
Do you? Do you know what love is?
Aye, it's a strong thing.
It's caring so much you stop thinking about yourself.
How is she?
Oh, she's all right, I guess. I still think we ought to have a doctor.
Well, Matthew says the doctors in New Orleans say that there's nothing wrong with it, that time won't heal.
What does he have against me, Pa?
Oh, I don't think he has anything against you, particularly. He's her father. She's been ill, and, well, what happened this morning, he's worried about her.
Then why didn't he let me explain what happened? Why wasn't he happy to see that she was safe instead of just...
He was upset, Joe. He didn't know what he was doing. He loves her very much.
I love her too, Pa.
Joe, are you sure that what you and she feel isn't just a sort of sentimental attraction for each other?
No. No, that's what I thought it was at first. Now I just want to be with her.
Well, from what I can see, she certainly wants to be with you.
We want each other very much.
Well, no one could ask for anything more. To be wanted is possibly the most important thing in the world.
We're going to get married.
Well, I don't think that's the biggest surprise I've ever had.
I just hope her father will understand.
Oh, I'm sure he will, Joseph. He's a stubborn man, but I know that in his heart his greatest concern is for her happiness. Be patient with him. Try to understand him the way you want him to understand you.
All right, I'll try. I just hope that he does.
I think Matthew and I ought to have a little talk. Maybe I can soften him up for you. That isn't interfering, is it?
Thanks, Pa. I think Laura and I can use all the help we can get.
Joe, what do you want to come up here for? This place gives me the willies.
Well, they won't when I get through with it.
What you figuring on doing? Hey, Joe, anytime you get that look in your eye, I always get in trouble. What you planning on doing?
Oh, you're right. I don't want to get you in any trouble. You better go back with the strays. I'll take care of this myself.
Take care of what yourself?
No, I don't want to get you in any trouble.
It's the first time you didn't want to get me in trouble. Besides, I kind of like trouble. What you planning on doing?
You promise not to tell anybody else?
Cross my heart.
No, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Dadgum you, Joe. If you're going to tell me what you're figuring on, am I going to have to bash you?
All right, now, I don't want anybody to know about it. You promise?
You got my word.
Well, I want to fix that cabin up like new.
What for her?
For Laura and I to live in after we get married.
Oh, you just joking me, ain't you, Joe?
As soon as she gets well. That's why I want that cabin to be a surprise. Look, I need your help, brother. Do I have it?
Have it? Why, you dadgum little critter, you. I'm your brother. Sure you got... Joe, you ain't kidding me, are you?
No, I ain't joking you.
Dadgummit. I'm here to tell you this is the best thing that's ever happened, and you just shut up. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Oh, that wine.
Feeling better?
Oh, much better. Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
Good. Hop Singh has some bread baking in the oven, and he has to keep an eye on it, so I said I'd bring this up to you. I hope you like beef pie.
It's one of my favorites.
Good. Well, good food and plenty of rest. You'll be up and around in no time.
I'm very grateful for your kindness, Mr. Cartwright.
Kindness? What, to the girl who's going to be my very first daughter-in-law?
Isn't it wonderful? I'm so happy I can hardly keep from crying.
Well, with this kind of happiness, the color will be flooding back into this very lovely face to illuminate all our lives.
Except my father's. Mr. Cartwright, I don't know how to explain to him about Joe and myself. I don't think he'd understand.
Well, Laura, it isn't always easy for fathers to understand. Ask my boys. I'm sure they find me pretty difficult at times.
He's lived his own life. Why can't he let me live mine?
I know your father wants only what's best for you, dear. He'll come around.
Thank you, sir.
You drink up every drop of that milk.
Yes, sir.
Now, what do you think? You think she'll like it?
Like it? Of course she'll like it. Ain't gonna be but a couple of weeks till spring. That little old tree's gonna be full of blossom. Be the prettiest spot in the whole country.
Hey, you know, I was thinking about something. Maybe we ought to add on an extra room. You know, just kind of a small one.
Well, what do you want another room for? Now, I thought you two were supposed to be out looking for strays. Now, there are no strays around here.
Oh, we's just... Tell him, Joe.
Well, you see, Adam,
Well, it seems to me if you want Laura to like her new home, that you ought to build a porch out for a couple of feet, maybe. And then put some shutters on the windows, huh?
Now, how did you know?
Well, I'm the architect in the family, remember? Now, if you want an extra room, I think this is what you ought to do. Just one more thing.
Oh, what is it?
Oh.
Hey, it's a cradle.
Tell me again, Joe. Say it again.
I love you. I love you more than anything else in the world. Oh, there's so many things I'd like to tell you, but it's supposed to be a surprise. But in just a week, that old cabin It's going to be our home.
Oh, please tell me, Joe. Tell me everything.
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, you won't spoil it. Tell me what it's going to be like.
All right, I'll tell you some of it. When in the front room by the fireplace, there'll be a rocker for you. Of course, there'll be a real big stuffed chair for me there. And winter, when it's raining, we can sit in front of the fire and hear it patter on the roof.
Like we did before? Just us?
Oh, and in the kitchen. Adam's got a pump fixed up right there in the house, so you'll always have water for you. And in one corner over by the fireplace where it's real warm, we're gonna put the...
A crib?
How did you know?
Where else would you put a crib, silly? We'll have lots of children. There'll be Cartwrights on the Ponderosa for generations. Ours.
I love you.
Joe, have you talked to my father yet?
No, I'm going to talk to him tomorrow morning.
Make him understand how it is with us.
I will. And don't you worry. Tomorrow I'll go into town and get the preacher. By tomorrow night you'll be Mrs. Joseph Cartwright.
Oh, Joe. Darling, I love you so much.
Matthew, I'd like to talk to you.
Yes?
What I want to say involves your daughter and my son.
I'll not be discussing them.
What are you trying to do to Laura? Save her from the world or keep her locked up in a cage? What?
Are you trying to tell me what to do with my own daughter?
Don't you realize they want to get married?
There'll be no marriage between them.
Matt. You know, they're not children anymore. Laura is a woman and Joseph is a man.
There's a stage leaving tomorrow from Virginia City. Laura and I will be on it.
You listen to me. Now, those children are entitled to their happiness.
Leave me be, Ben. I know what's best for my daughter.
What are you being so stubborn about?
I know what's best for my daughter. I tell you. You have 3 sons, 3 strong sons. What can you know about a daughter? A sweet, soft, beautiful girl. Who's going to die?
What are you saying, Matthew?
It's the truth I've been living with every waking and sleeping hour. I couldn't bring myself to tell her. The doctor said she had a year to live. A year for me to make her happy in.
She knows nothing of this.
Nothing. Man, I could ride out the fiercest gale. I could beat down the scurviest, most mutinous crew. I could handle anything ever thrown at a man by nature or circumstance. But how can I tell my child, my only child, that her hope, her life is at an end? That's why I couldn't encourage a marriage to your boy. It would have had nothing to grow on. It would have destroyed him.
Matthew. They must know. Both of them.
It can't be true. true. They said I was going to get well. You're lying to me, Father.
By the eternal, I'd give my life to make it a lie. I didn't want you to be hurt, child. Don't you see?
Tomorrow? Tomorrow was to be my wedding day. Go away. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
Oh, it can't be true. She can't be dying.
Joe?
It's Laura, Pa. She's not in the room and nowhere in the house.
Not in the house?
I think I know where she is. The cabin.
Joe, I had to come and see it. It's beautiful.
What's the idea of spoiling my big surprise?
Well, I wanted to see our view again.
We could have seen it together.
I couldn't wait. We have to crowd everything we can into each day. Look, Joe. The rains made the valley so green. This is our place. Our very own. Joe. Joe. Hold me. Hold me. Laura. Joe, I feel all turned around, like it's the end of the day instead of the beginning.
I have to get you back to the ranch. You have a big day ahead of you. It's not every day a girl gets married.
No, I don't want to leave here. Please, Joe.
Laura, I love you so much.
I feel fine now. Darling. Like that little white flower floating on the water. So light and delicate. You found me in that pool. And you made me a part of your life.
Always.
Always.
Always a part of my life.
Matthew's gone. He understood why you weren't there to see him off. He asked me to say goodbye to you for him. And to please forgive him.
Well, Adam really did a job with his cradle, you know?
Joe, someone said something to me a long time ago. When Adam's mother died. Her father. He said, "Don't brood, son. Keep a warm spot in your heart for her. But don't carry her on your shoulders for the rest of your life. She wouldn't want that." I'll wait for you outside.
fine spring, son. I don't think I've ever seen a prettier one. Mess. Now, look, let's not have any more argument about this. Since Hop Singh has been away, this place has been turned into a pigsty. Now, one of you is going to stay here and get this place back into shape again. Who's it going to be?
Oh, it ought to be Adam or little Joe. You know I ain't no good at this housekeeping.
Neither am I, Pa.
Neither am I. I agree with Hoss. It ought to be Joe.
Yeah, well, why always me and not you
All right,
or
let's
Hoss?
stop the haggling. We'll decide who it'll be by the usual fair method.
I want to choose my match. I'm tired of getting beat.
Go ahead. All right. You ready?
Ready.
Come together. It'll take about 2 days to get that bull back up here from the railway siding. By the time we get back, I expect to lose it to have this house clean as a whistle. The whole house. Understood?
Dadgummit.
Clean as a whistle. The whole house. Let's get ready, boys.
Oh, that burn little Joe ain't fix that thing. Dadgone rock. You're supposed to get a pick and chop that thing off. Lazy little scoundrel. Paul will tear him up when Dadgum. Dad, blame it. Confounded that blasted. Where's that rope? You hold me. Here.
Clean as a whistle.
Yeah, I didn't think Hoss had it in him. Like, I'm beat, Pa. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, if the kitchen is this clean, I'll have to admit Hoss is a real great housekeeper.
Let's go see.
Well, this is the cleanest this kitchen's ever been.
That house is not only a first-rate housekeeper, it's a first-rate cook. This is a better stew than Hop Singh ever dished up.
Yeah? Hey, Pa! Pa, come quick, upstairs. Come on, hurry.
Who she is, Pa?
No. She must be the one. That cleaned the house and made that stew.
Why would you want to do a thing like that? Shh. Don't wake her up. She must be tired from doing all that work.
Well, Hoss can tell us who she is.
Hey, maybe in town all day. Hey, Pa. Maybe something in that satchel will tell us who she is.
I don't want to go in the satchel.
Oh, why not? You know, no telling how long Hoss might be away.
It wouldn't be right.
Oh, go ahead and look in the satchel.
Go on.
For shame, man! For shame! What a black-hearted scoundrel you are! A man who would rob a poor old woman in his sleep is capable of anything. And how dare you come into this house with mud all over you?
Now, ma'am, will you please stop for just one moment? I'm Ben Cartwright. These are my sons, and we're in this house because we live here.
Yeah, and seeing as we didn't know who you were, ma'am, we thought we'd look in your little satchel there and see if we could find out who you were.
You have tongues, haven't you? All you had to do was to ask, and I'd tell you that I'm Nellie Lynch. Did you find him, Hoss?
No, ma'am, I didn't, Miss Leach. I'm sorry.
Just a minute, young man. Danny always was an easygoing soul, and I know he lets you brutes get away with murder. But you're towing the muck as long as I'm staying here. And don't you ever come in this house again looking the way you are, or you've seen your last day on my son's ranch.
Your son's ranch?
That's what I said.
Mrs. Lynch, your son must be Danny Lynch.
Of course it's Danny Lynch. Now, who else would have be coming all the way from Ireland to see one more time before I divert my son, Danny?
Mrs. Lynch, I think there's something you ought to know.
I'll stop talking so much. It's not the likes of you I come over here to see. So stop standing there and go fetch me Danny. Get!
Paul, I've been looking all over the place for you. I want to tell you about Miss Lynch.
I know all about Mrs. Lynch. Why didn't you tell her the truth?
Paul, that little woman came all the way from Ireland and thinking that... Paul, I just couldn't break her heart.
Hoss, you should have told her the truth.
Paul, if it hadn't been for that little lady, I'd have drowned it right out there in that well before you got back.
Drowned?
Yes, sir. I fell in the well. Dad, Bernard, it ain't funny. Paul, that little woman saved my life.
Now, look, Hoss, you've got to be sensible about this. We've got a lot of men working around here, and sooner or later, somebody's going to let the cat out of the bag. Well, you're not doing her a kindness by letting her believe a lie.
What's stopping you from going right back in the house now and telling her the truth?
Well, she oughtn't to hear the truth from a stranger. She's going to hear it from the man who started this whole thing. Come on.
All right, Danny.
Well, if you gentlemen have come to pay me a visit, I hope you brought your own bottle of whiskey. Good. I don't have a drink left in the house.
On your feet now. Mr. Cartwright here paid your fine. You're free to go.
Now, just a moment, Danny. There's something fishy here. Beware of strangers bearing gifts. And don't forget we'll be out of here tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right, Howie. You never did care much about the likes of Danny Lynch, Mr. Cartwright. So I don't think you'd do me a favor without some strings attached.
There are no strings, Danny. I'd just like you to come out to the Ponderosa.
Ha! No strings, he says. Lock the door, Sheriff, and give him back his money. I'd rather rat in the spot where I lie than work me indebtedness out on the Ponderosa like a slave in bondage. I reject your officer and bid you good day.
I doubt that the devil himself could get an honest day's work out of you, so I certainly wouldn't be wasting my time trying to. I just thought you'd like to see your mother.
Oh, that I would. But even if I had the eyes of an eagle, I couldn't see all the way to Ireland. Oh, Howie, I got a letter from me mother a week ago, and he's telling me...
Your mother's not in Ireland. She's at the Ponderosa.
You mean my mother's here in Nevada?
That's what I said.
I can't believe she's really here. I just can't believe it.
We can't believe that you're the owner of the Ponderosa either.
Tell me, how did she take it when she found out all the things that I wrote in me letters were lies?
Well, we didn't tell her, Danny. We thought you'd like to do that yourself.
Oh, Dobby.
Come on, Danny.
My regards to your dear old mother there, Danny. And have one for me.
So, Paul, that's why I sent little Joe out in a buggy with her. What's it going to hurt, Paul?
I said no. And that's exactly what I meant. No. Now, look, Hoss, I know you're grateful to her and you have a nice, soft heart. But you don't have a soft head. And neither do I. I told you this before. Sooner or later, Mrs. Lynch has got to find out about him.
But no, she don't, Paul. That's just the point. She ain't going to be here but a couple of weeks. Now, what's it going to hurt if we play like her son is the owner of the Ponderosa? Paul, I can put up with Denny for a couple of weeks a lot easier than I can break that poor old lady's heart.
Oh, God bless you. How she got the heart of a saint.
You keep out of this.
Paul, you just got to stop thinking about how you feel about Danny and think about that poor old lady. She came all the way over here from Ireland, Paul, and it just wouldn't be fair.
Hoss, will you stop being ridiculous? Now, you're not going to change my mind. And neither are you.
Well, Danny, at least we can get you cleaned up. Why don't you come on in the kitchen with me, huh?
Stubborn dead.
Danny! Never mind getting cleaned up. It's too late for that. She's here.
'Tis a lovely place my Danny boy has. Oh, a lovely place.
That it is, ma'am.
Danny?
Dobby?
Danny. It's the first time I've been called Dobby since the day you left Ireland.
Dobby! Oh, Dobby! Oh, sweet Dobby! I can't believe my eyes! It's me, Dobby! Oh,
Danny, oh, God loves you.
Oh, thank you.
Danny. Oh, I've been so lonely. Oh, Danny. Oh, God, look at
I thought Danny'd be all shaven and have one of Pa's suits on by now. What happened?
Oh, Dad burning, nothing happened.
You mean he wouldn't go for it?
No. We tried to talk him into it, but solid as a rock.
Oh, Danny, I'm thinking. Oh, I've been so lonely. Oh, Danny.
You know, I think the rock just might melt.
2 weeks. No more, 2 weeks.
Danny Lynch, just look at you now. Faith and only a mother could love you. You're a sight to behold.
You're right, Miss Lynch. He don't look much like the owner of the Ponderosa, does he? But now that you're here, maybe he'll start sprucing up a little bit instead of looking like one of us cowhands.
Well, tell me now, Dobie, did you come all the way over here to see me trousseau? Or was it your Danny boy you really came to see? Tell me, Dobie.
Oh, Danny, you devil. You know I don't have to tell you.
May I?
Certainly.
I haven't tasted a fine Irish stew like that since the day I left me home. Me mother's a fine cook, isn't she, fellas?
Oh, sure is.
There's only one way to top off a meal like that. It's a spot of good brandy. Well, Ben, you know where I keep my bottle. Get it for me, will you, please?
I'll get it for you, Pop.
You just stay right there, little Joe. I'm going to get this brandy myself.
You enjoy a spot of brandy, don't you, Dobby?
No, I don't. Well, I take a wee spot now and then for medicinal purposes. Only because my doctor recommends it. He says it's good to keep me old blood circulating.
Then you have a very wise doctor. My father always told me, watch out for a man who doesn't drink. And if you run into an Irishman that doesn't drink, stay away from him like you stay away from the plague.
But remember, it was the whiskey that done him in long before his time. God rest his poor soul.
Ah, come on, Dobby. You and I both know that he was drowned while fishing in the Irish Sea off Balregan.
Well, if he wasn't drunk, he wouldn't have fallen out of his dory.
Oh, thank you, Ben.
No, not for me.
Ben, you know I always like to do the honors with my own hands.
Oh, that's enough for me.
Well, seeing this is a special occasion, Ben, I don't mind if you and the boys join me in a spot of brandy. A little spot of brandy?
No, thanks, boss. No.
This is a very special occasion, Danny. And I really didn't mean to spoil it by reminding you of how your father left this world. I don't have to worry about you, Danny. Any man that could build an empire like the Ponderosa would never let the whiskey ruin his life. Forgive me, son.
There's nothing to forgive. And seeing we're together, well, there's just nothing to do but celebrate.
Danny boy, don't you hear
good. Good morning, Darby. And how are you this fine day?
Never mind how I am. You get down here. Remember, you have to do something for me today.
Ben, leave your horse saddle. I want to use it.
No, Paul, wait.
He hasn't been up a single day before noon since he's been here.
Well, at least that way you'll see less of him, Paul.
No.
Boy, he ain't much like his ma, is he? I don't see how a woman her age does it, Paul. She's up every morning fixing breakfast, and then after that, she's working all day like a slave.
You know, that Nellie Lynch is she's a remarkable woman. I have a great deal of respect for her. You know, I wouldn't mind it if she spent the rest of her days right here in the Ponderosa. But how a wonderful woman like her could mother a useless, shiftless, worthless, lazy parasite like that son of hers. Well, this is just beyond my understanding.
Danny.
Where did you get all the money?
It's my passage money, Danny. I paid my passage here, and I'm paying my passage home.
Now, what kind of a son owning a grand ranch like the Ponderosa would permit his poor mother to buy her own passage back to Ireland? Well, not your Danny boy. Here, you take it back and I'll buy you a passage myself.
I accept charity from no one, not even you, Danny. Not even if you owned every foot of ground in America. So stop arguing with me and put it in your pocket. And go to town and make all the arrangements.
You have no right to be so proud and independent.
Keep the money and save your breath. Yours, eh, Danny? It's the finest. Now, go along with you and purchase my passage back to Ireland.
Oh, hello, Danny. Well, what can I do for you, Danny?
Well, I'd like to buy passage for Ireland.
Oh, for you, Danny?
No, it's for me mother.
Oh, well, now, let me find out about the ships here. Well, let's see. We have you said Ireland?
Yeah.
There's a ship leaving New Orleans at Kilkennan the last of the month. Now, I can't accept the passage money for the Kilkennan. Your mother will have to pay for that in New Orleans when she gets there. You could just leave $10 with me. It'll more than cover the cost of telegraphing to New Orleans. And then you can pay for the stagecoach ticket, our stagecoach ticket, anytime you want. Before she leaves, of course.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ramsey. It's a pleasure doing business with you. And it's a very bright young man you are.
Thank you, Danny.
Never saw you so prosperous, Danny. Your luck sure must have changed since the last time I saw you. My, this coat sure has a rich feeling. I'll bet you could...
It ain't for sale, so quit fingering it.
But, Danny, I'm flat busted. I couldn't buy it if it was. I haven't even the price of a glass of whiskey.
Well, I better be on my way. It's good seeing you again, Howie.
Well, Danny, when the cards was turning right for me, did I ever turn my back on you?
No, you didn't, Howie, and it wouldn't turn me back on you, but I'm not as prosperous as I look.
Oh, but Danny,
No, that is not my money, Howie. I'm not lying to you. It is not my money.
But, Danny, it's got purchasing power no matter whose money it is. Please, Danny, I'm pleading with you. I beg with you. I'll get on my knees.
Oh, now stop it, Howie. Stop it. Well, you never deserted me when I was down and out, and I will not desert you. I'll buy you one stiff drink and a good meal, and that's all.
Danny, that's all I can ask of you. Hey, come on, Danny, come on. I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. Come on. Danny. Come on.
That's Pa's horse, all right. Well, we can talk when staying in town at the hotel when Mrs. Lynch leaves.
Well, are you in or out, Mr. Lynch?
I'm in. Give me 3.
Do you suppose Pa was so fed up with Danny that he was willing to give him money to gamble with just to get rid of him?
Adam, little Joe, how's that fine new bull of yours?
Good.
I'm still offering $500.
No, it's a fair price, Mr. Higgins. You get ready to sell him, we'll let you know.
Well, I'm out.
Well, how about you, Mr. Lynch?
I'll bet. There.
I'm sure I'm foolish, but I'll call you. All I've got is 2 pairs, 7s and 6s. What have you got, Mr. Lynch?
All he's got is a pair of aces.
How much has he lost so far?
That's about $250.
I'm dealing you out this time, Danny.
Why?
Because you haven't got any money.
Well, isn't my credit good?
Not with me, it isn't.
If you can't get credit with men that know you, Mr. Lynch, you can't expect to get it from me.
How about you, Mr. Higgins?
I'm sorry, Danny. I'm broke.
I just heard you offer $500 for a bull. Adam, how about...
Let's go, Danny.
There we go. Come on.
Are you sure you didn't give him the money?
I swear it, Paul.
Well, where did you get it?
I don't know.
No good horse, no good at all.
And, Danny, you ain't gonna get no argument from Paul on that subject.
No good.
Danny, you done said that once. Now, hush up before you wake up your ma. You don't want her to come down here and see you in this condition, do you? Come on.
Bobby.
Good morning. So there you are, Danny boy. Do you know that it's almost time for lunch?
That I do. But I've been doing a lot of thinking. Takes an awful lot of thinking to run a ranch. And you know, there's nothing like lying in bed for clearing the head.
And it's lucky you are in having the Cartwrights for working while you do the thinking. Certainly gives them an appetite.
Darby, you've been working too hard. I think I'll send for the cook, Hopsing, and have him come back from San Francisco.
You do no such thing. With a name like that, he could poison all of us. Besides, I like the cooking. Haven't I been doing it for years back in Ireland? Now, did you make all the arrangements for me going back home, Danny?
Well, I took that long trip into town, didn't I?
Oh, Danny. I wish I could take you with me. But I know your roots are here in America now.
Darby, I'm going back into town and cancel all the arrangements for your trip back home.
In heaven's name, why?
Because you're never going back. You're staying right here with me. I need you, Darby.
Oh, I wish I could be with you always, Danny. But I couldn't.
Why not?
Until I left Ireland to visit you, I'd never been further from Danboyan than Balrigan. No, I'd never rest easy, buried in a foreign soil. You know that, Danny.
Sure, Darby. That I do.
Thought I told you boys to take this bull out to the herd.
Well, he also had us out mending fences. We can't be two places at once.
See, the Cartwrights are coming for lunch. I think I'll mosey along.
Oh, but why, Danny? You haven't eaten?
Well, I got to check up on their work. You know, it's not all manual labor running a ranch. It's thinking, Dobby. It's thinking. Goodbye.
Get your rope, Joe.
Yeah.
Come on. Hey, Paul, he's gone.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Higgins.
And Danny heard that off at $500.
I'll go with you, Hoss.
Hello, Danny.
Hello, Mr. Higgins. Quite a show you got, huh?
Yeah, that's a heap of wood. Say, if you'd like to finish sawing that and stack it over that pile, I'll be glad to give you $25.
No, thank you, Mr. Higgins.
Well, I can't say as I blame you. What are you doing with Ben Cartwright's bull?
Ben has a lot of bulls, so he decided to sell this one to you. He asked me to bring it over to you.
Is he still asking the same price?
$500.
I sure would like to buy that bull, Danny. I surely would.
Well, what's stopping you from owning him?
Ben.
What I just told you.
I'd be willing to go even higher than the 500, but before we can close any deal, I'd better hear what Ben says. Hello, Ben.
John?
Ben,
Now get up on your horse.
So long, John.
So long, Ben.
Maybe I ought to get you a drink, Danny.
No, it's too late for that. It's all gone.
What are you gentlemen doing home at this time of day? Isn't there any work to be done?
Abby, I hate to see you working your fingers to the bone down in me socks.
Oh, I've darned your socks before, Danny. And your father's, too. What is it, Danny?
Well, those are not my socks. They're Ben's. And every stitch of clothes I have on are Ben's. Even my shoes are his.
Well, what do you mean?
No, I'd rather die than do this to you, Dobby. But no, don't say a word. Just listen. And when I'm finished, you won't even want to look or ever see a fancy Danny boy again. Now, listen, please. The Cartwrights own the Ponderosa. I don't own anything, and I never did. I was in jail when you arrived. Ben Cartwright has always been set against me and me ways. Because Hoss and his brothers, Ben too, otherwise he wouldn't have gone along with it. Couldn't stand to see you come halfway across the world and have your heart broken into pieces. They let me pretend I own the Ponderosa. Felt so good, too. Wearing fine clothes. Living in a fine house. It felt good inside, too. Because I could see how proud you were of me.
I don't feel proud of you now.
But let me get it all out, please. I stole Ben Cartwright's bull to sell it so that I could give you back the money that you gave me for your passage home. But he caught me before I could sell it.
What happened to my money?
Well, I got drunk and I lost in the poker game at the pub.
Oh, Danny, you gambled away my passage money. I don't have any more money.
Mrs. Lynch, you'll have the money to get back to Ireland.
Oh, Danny, what made you do it?
I don't know. I met a friend, and I did it. I did it because I'm Danny Lynch.
Don't you worry about your passage back to Ireland. Paul gave it to you.
I never borrowed a farthing in my life, and I never thought I would. But it'd all be repaid. You can be sure of that.
Abby, I love you. And I'm sorry I hurt you so. Goodbye, Dobby.
I'll never lay eyes on him again.
Sure you will, Miss Lynch. He'll come back.
No, he won't. He's too ashamed. I've seen my son for the last time.
Looking for him. If I had, I'd have rode over to your place and told you he was over here. He come back the same day that he tried to sell me Ben's bull. I didn't take him serious right off, but he was. Seems kind of funny, don't it, Hoss?
Sure does. We got no notion he's over here. We've been looking for him for days. Glad Paul decided to invite you to Miss Lynch's farewell party, though. You mean he chopped all that by himself?
Yes, sirree. He's done a real fine job, Hoss. Why, I've got enough wood to last me all winter.
Hello, Hoss.
Hey, Daddy. Oh, John's been telling me how hard you've been working. He sure wasn't lying.
Hoss, how's me, Dobby?
She's just fine, Danny. As a matter of fact, she's going back to Ireland. We're having a little farewell party for her tonight. I know she'd appreciate it a great deal if you could be there.
Well, the next time I see Dobby, I'll have the money for her fare back to Ireland in my pocket, or I won't see her at all. Mr. Higgins, that's the last that would me. I have me money, please.
Well, sure, Danny, but there's a lot of other work you can do around here.
Just me money, please. And Mr. Higgins, I wonder if you'd trust me enough to lend me a horse to ride into town.
Sure, I guess so, Danny.
Well, thanks, Mr. Higgins. Thanks for everything.
Hey, Danny, wait a minute. Danny, what you gonna be doing in town?
What do you think Danny Lynch would be doing in town?
No, you can't change the spots on a leopard.
Oh, you've been working like a mule. He cut all that wood and stacked it for Mr. Higgins. That must prove he's changed.
Mm-hmm. Could also prove that all he wanted was a steak. Did he continue to work for Higgins? No. Went straight to town.
Maybe he's got a plan.
You don't need a plan to stand up to a bar.
Well, anyhow, I'm gonna have to ride in town and find out. I just couldn't face that poor Miss Lynch if Danny don't show up for that party.
Yeah, she's in there now, preparing for that party. Just as excited as the first day she got here.
Hoss, wait for me. I couldn't face it either. I'll go with you.
Tens. I'm out.
Small flush. Well, looks like me pile.
Bartender, some whiskey.
I told you we'd be too late.
Yeah, looks like.
Cards are sure smiling on you today, Danny. Here, let's celebrate.
I don't need that. I am not drinking. Furthermore, you can remove it from me presents. Well, let's ante up.
There it is, Danny. That's all you get from me.
I'm through.
Well, you called. I got 3 of the tiniest ones in the deck.
They may be tiny, but they're big enough for aces up.
Danny, come on now, Danny. You got over $250 here. Now, let's get out of here. Come on, Dan.
Do you mind if I sit in?
You can sit in if you want to, but the money's leaving.
No. Howie, you're broke. Now, give Mr. Wiley your seat.
Oh, Danny, come on, Danny, you done broke the table.
Yeah, but Mr. Wiley's holding plenty.
Well, I might have known.
I have no objection to two-handed poker. Do you, Mr. Lynch?
Oh, none at all. You've separated me from so much of me money in the past years, I'd like to try and get some of it back.
Well, let's see if you can.
But we're not going to play poker. Now, here's 250. You put up a like amount, and I'll high card you for it.
Danny.
Would you like to pick your card first, Mr. Lynch?
Oh, I don't care who picks first, Mr. Wiley, but we're not going to do it that way. Here, Hoss, you shuffle the deck and put them on the table.
Danny, don't do it. For your mother's sake, don't do it.
Shuffle them.
I just plain can't stand it.
I can tell by your face what happened.
He wanted to play double or nothing with Wiley. If I'd have stayed there another minute, I'd have broke him in two.
Why couldn't he quit when he had the 250?
Because he's Danny Lynch.
I better tell Mrs. Lynch that he won't be here. That poor lady, she's had so much. Thank you. Mrs. Lynch, I'm terribly sorry, but I don't think Danny will be coming to the party.
Poor Danny. He's still ashamed to face his mother.
Yeah, I feel kind of badly that for us all going along with Danny's lie. But we did it out of the deepest affection and admiration for you.
Dear Mr. Cartwright, you're a kind man. You and your fine boys, you don't need to be sorry for what you did. You see, I knew the truth all along.
You did? But when?
The minute I saw Danny's face. You can't fool a mother about her own son, especially an Irish mother. And I felt so grateful to you. That's why I kept the Ponderosa all clean and spotless out of my gratitude. And about this party. It's grand of you. But would you make my apologies to everyone? I just don't feel like a party.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody fill up a glass, and we'll drink a toast to me mother, the pride and joy of Dunboyne, and the only woman her son Danny ever truly loved.
Dad, you drunk.
Oh, no, I'm not. This is the only drink that passed me gullet in days. Here, don't bother to count it. Take me word for it, there's 500 beautiful dollars nestled snug and warm behind that string. Take me word, because I'm never going to lie to you again. Never. Well, a toast to me mother. May the winds blow kind on the Kilkennan as it sails across the sea carrying me Dobby. And a Danny boy back to Ireland.
Danny.
I know that's a surprise, but isn't that a toast worth drinking to, Ben? When the stage leaves Virginia City tomorrow morning, you'll never have to look at this cheerful, smiling face of mine again. Here, how's each you, Phil? Because unless you visit Nellie and Danny's fish and chip place in Dunboyne, you'll never taste the likes of them again.
Ah, Danny, this is the happiest day of my life. And I'm glad you don't own the Ponderosa. Because if you did, you couldn't go back to Ireland with me.
Well, now, Mrs. Lynch, I'm sure you haven't forgotten how to do an Irish jig. Play, boys.
Don't make a habit of those, Oz. You'll have to go clear to Ireland to get them.
Might be worth it, Paul. Boy, it was a great party.
Yeah, sure is.
You know, I'm gonna sort of miss having old Danny around, ain't you?
Yeah, sure am. What am I saying?